hello, giant hand, giant enemy hand. Hello, welcome. Hello, it's Fox from Model Making Guru here. Welcome. It is Sunday, therefore it is Warhammer Sunday. Yes, it's Warhammer Sunday. Back with the usual live streams. I wasn't around yesterday, apologies, had stuff to do yesterday, so I wasn't free for the Skyrim stream, but welcome. It's that time of the week when I sit down and either crack on with my own army, what they called, I've forgotten, it's been so long, the Unending forces of the Holy Contrivance, or more likely, as I have been for the last few months, I crack on with my Warhammer Conquest build-up. I'm building up all the models and kits in the series before I then go ahead and paint them all and do proper filming of those. So I'm just like taking my time, very much taking my time, getting all these things built up. It's giving me content for this live stream for months, and it will do for months to come. And today we carry on with Warhammer Conquest. But welcome one and all. If you've not seen one of these before, basically it's me just waffling for 3 hours. I'll do a little tiny bit of work. This was my entire output last time. Yeah, I did 3 dudes. Where's the camera? I did 3 dudes. 3 dudes is pretty epic for me, I have to tell you. That's pretty good for me, that. So, yeah. But they are poxwalkers. We've got 1 billion poxwalkers to make, so I think we'll get more than 2 done. My camera's at a really funny angle today. I've got to kind of face that way to show you things, even though I'm working this way because my table. Yeah, I never know where to put the camera that gives you a decent looking angle. But yes, we'll get more than 2 done today. If you've not seen one of these before, basically, I say I'll waffle for 3 hours and get some work done. It's more just a chance for you guys to hang out in chat and have a good time. I'll just be on in the background. Especially right now with the world being on fire, it's a place to hang out with your friends because there's bugger all else to do, basically. So there you go. So that's what we're going to be doing. Now, before we get going, as always, massive quick shout-outs to the people who make this channel possible. First and foremost, my Patreon supporters at patreon.com/modelmakingguru. They basically pay my wages, they keep food on the table, they keep these lights on and everything else, so massive thank you to them. I love them all very dearly. And of course, to the 2 stores that keep this channel going, of course we have emodels.co.uk, your one-stop shop for all your model making needs, and goblingaming.co.uk, your one-stop shop for all your tabletop gaming and model making needs. So do check out the links to those 2 in the description below the video. You can get massive savings from both of those stores. Goblin Gaming do 20% off Games Workshop, Malifaux and Conflict 47 and massive savings on everything else. And eModels do a discount on everything by default, so go and check them out. And very quickly before we get going, you may have seen my post this morning. You know I have a couple of Amazon stores for the US and the UK. There's links in the description below. There is now a Canada Amazon store. I forgot to put the link in the description below this video, so hello. Yes, but yes, there is now a Canada store. I'll put the link in the chat. Hang on, if I've got it here. Can I post in the chat? Is it going to let me? Is it going to remember I've copied it, not pasted it? There we go. I've put that in the chat. Yes, I'll make sure it's in the description when this thing's finished and no longer live. I forgot to put it in. But yes, they're now Canada Amazon store. So if you need to pick stuff up, I always say if you need to pick stuff up, go onto my Amazon stores, have a look and see if the stuff you need is in there. If it's not, you can always give me a shout and I'll add it for you. It takes me 2 seconds. But if you use the Amazon store, it helps support. It doesn't cost you anything more, but it helps support this channel. So do go and check them out. Right, so let's have it. Now, I don't know how long we'll last today because it is a bajillion degrees in here. It's obviously really nice outside, and I can't have the window open because if I open the window, the temperature will equalise and it'll get even hotter. So I have to keep the window shut till it's evening and cold outside, and then I can open the window up. So we'll see how long we can last before I sweat into a pool and just disappear. Now we'll have a quick look at the chat. First person in I've got here was Lynn Dipple, who popped in to say hello and off to work I go. Have fun. She usually works at the weekend. We've got David Sanderson, Mordraka. Dad is one of your mods. Dad, of course, lovely Dad. He's just got himself an Xbox yesterday. I don't know if he's figured out how to use it yet, how to play his Skyrim. He's got Skyrims and he's got some other game. And he's getting some good games, but I don't think he's actually figured out how to do first-person or third-person controller movements yet. He's figuring it out slowly. Hi, Dad. How's it going on the Xbox? Dexterous Crafter is in. Hey, Nat. We've got Bob. Michael Storman, we've got Wendy Hickson, Model Making Trucker Lewis, hello matey. Graham McRobert, we have Tim Wilkinson. Ross Medlock is in. Nurksrin is in. Don't see Nurksrin very often, so welcome. The Raging Modeler, hey Adam. David Sanderson, Scale Model Muse, welcome Muse. We have Mordraka is in. Coffee Run, says Mordraka. Scale Model Muse is at the bottom of her first tankard of coffee. And the brain's still not connected to her hands. So more coffee, basically. Wendy Hickson is in and says, the best line of the day so far, nobody can beat this now. Be right back, just going to feed my jumping spiders. That she wins chat now. Wendy's just won the internet for today, so nobody even try and beat that. I don't like spiders so much, but I don't mind big tarantulas, and I don't mind little... I mean, jumping spiders to me are little tiny things about this big that go across the... I like them. They're quite cool. I'm assuming they're not little tiny jumping spiders like we get in the garden, though. Excuse me. Model Making Trucker says, I'm going to leave Connor in charge of my typey for a minute while I go and sun resin. Welcome, Connor. Welcome, Lewis. Welcome, Connor. Also, Lewis, I hope you're wearing a respirator while you're sanding resin. Make sure you wear a mask, well, not a respirator, but a mask, a dust mask, when you sand resin, and wet sand it, just because the dust is toxic. You don't want to be breathing that in. It's like breathing in volcanic ash, spicules that will lodge in your lungs. So always wear a mask. Doesn't have to be a respirator. Even just a dust mask is fine with resin, but always wear a mask. And wet it when you wet sand it. Nim is in. Welcome, Nim. Paul, another one of your mods. Paul is in. Paul at Team Inept says Banhammer, and that's how he's going to go for the rest of the day. Wayne Haywood is in. Edward Leonard, morning or afternoon all. Hello, it's Connor, says Model Making Trucker. Hello, Connor. Welcome. Hello, Connor. I hope you're being good, says Dad. Yes, Mike, I'm being good. Aww. Let's have a look. Who else have we got in? The Raging Modeler. Can you add a helmet of seeing that you would recommend to the UK store, my good man Foxer? Thank you. Yes, I will do, but you need to pop me a message on Facebook to remember, because if it's in chat, I'll forget. By the end of this show, I'll forget. But yes, I shall add one for you. Dad asked the most important question, of course, which is, what's on your bench and what's in your belly? What are you working on right now? It doesn't have to be a model. It can be anything creative. It can be a picture. You could be making shelves. You could be doing the garden. It's nice weather outside. You could be planting organisms in the garden. It could be anything. What you're working on creative-wise, and what's in your belly? What are you having for dinner, or what have you had for dinner? See if any news come in before we do the bench and belly. Don't think any news come in. The Raging Modeler, he got your name right, says Paul at TV. Only because Dad said hi, Adam, so I guessed. I never remember people's names. It's not that I don't remember people's names, it's that I don't remember which name goes with which YouTube handle, if you know what I mean. Not that I don't, I always call Adam Andrew, and it's like, Randy. It's not that I forget people's name, but I do. But it's more that I never remember which name goes with which handle. So yes, save for a few. Ryan Craig is in, still building my Mang M1A2 Abrams. Welcome. Right, I think I'm up to date with who's in so far. There are 37 people watching, and there's about 12 or 13 people in chat. So if you are watching this, I do suggest you come and join the chat. I know you can see the chat here. This isn't the live chat. This is just for people who are watching it either later on or who can't access the chat, so they can't see what I'm responding to. I like to put that chat there just so if you can't see the live chat, you can at least see what the question is that I'm answering or something like that. But if you're watching this and you can see the live chat, join in. Come and say hello. They're a friendly bunch. The mods will look after you. It's a really nice place. This is more about you hanging out and chatting with your friends and having a bit of a lark than it is anything I'm doing on screen and anything I'm talking about. I'm just the background facilitator that gets all you guys together in a happy place. So yeah, do come and join the live chat. If you're watching this and you can't see where the live chat is, it's normally on YouTube to the right of the screen over here somewhere, underneath, well, over there. If you're watching on a mobile device like a tablet or a phone, maybe just scroll down a little bit. It might be under the video, or make sure you request the desktop version of the website, not the mobile app, because it might not have the chat in there. But do come and say hello. Come and say hello. Right. Dad asked the question, bench and belly. So very quickly before we get going, I shall say, Mordraka says, before Dad even asked, he says, before Dad asks, bench, plague burst crawler, belly, chili snags, that's sausages, eggs and snags. Snags is sausages, isn't it? Australia. G'day, bro. Belly is chili snags, eggs and chips, and a massive bowl of Irish coffee. Jack Daniels. Wow, that sounds awesome. That was the worst accent ever as well. David Sanderson says, I've got the chat here, by the way. Oh, if you want to get my attention, I've got the chat right here. Guthorm is here as well, by the way. Guthorm is in, he just can't see him. I have got the chat here, so if you want to get my attention, please put your comment in big fat capital letters so I have a chance to see it when I'm working. Or if you want to, you can do a super chat, which is the dollar symbol at the bottom of the chat window. That puts your comment in a coloured box, and there's no way I can miss it then. Also makes an animation up here in the top right corner, so I can't miss your comment that way. And that's also a way you can support this channel as well. Where are we? Who was I doing? Yes, David Sanderson. Excuse me. Belly, corned beef hash with spaghetti, bench, a repulsor. That's the Space Marine repulsor. the Primaris Repulsor. Jamie's in. Jamie Bow, welcome, Jamie. Paul at Team Inept is working on the Bandai Snowspeeder and several other bits, but misses out the entire... Oh, he says later on, Belly, don't know, some food. Yeah, you forgot though, didn't you? You didn't do that bit first. 2 different comments. Slacking. Nim says, Bench, Master Grade Vercar, ball. And Belly, sesame orange chicken with right rice. That's not a snack food. I'm impressed that you're actually having proper food for once. Good girl. Muse is back and has more coffee. Ryan Craig, oh, we've done that one. You got my name right, says Raging Modeler. I know, I'm impressed. The triangle has truly blessed me today. Puts triangle at the end of his comment. Lewis or Connor, I'm not sure which, says Hi Fox. Raging Modeler, Belly is empty. Bench, I have finished the Colossal Skeleton, and then we may start on the Judge Dredd stuff. Come on in the chat, do, says Paul. Foxy is the background noise, says Muse. This is my destiny to be the background noise. I'm the background hum. Wayne Haywood, Belly, Chicken Sarnies. Bench, continuing my Legion Rebel Commandos. Yes. We might need a bit more detail on the chicken sarnies, like apart from chicken and butter of some sort and bread. What else is on there? Model Making Mayhem says, I am arrived and no one panic. Excellent. Interzone 88 is in. Hi Fox, hi Dad, hi all. Welcome into Zone. Pork for my dinner, I'm not making today. Okay, says Model Making Trucker. Okay, we need more information on the pork, though. Is it just like what else is with the pork? What kind of pork? There are many kinds of pork. Tim Wilkinson is Bench. Pesky AMT speeder bike. He's working on the old AMT speeder bike Star Wars kit. Belly, cider, a meal and a drink. Ross Medlock says the Bench, the 135th Italeri S100 Schnellboot and the 172nd Revell Platinum Edition U-Boat Belly will be a barbecue in an hour or so. Comment, I need a comma there between U-Boat and Belly. I nearly read that as U-Boat Belly. I'm making a 172nd scale U-Boat Belly. Nim says, I do eat normal food, it's just I usually graze. I know that. Dexterous Crafter says, Belly, roast pork with trimmings, Bench, Diamond Art, Tiger. Cool. And that's answered for you, Lewis, because you gave half an answer. Wendy Hickson, Belly, Jaffa Cakes, Bench, Gazgul, Thracker, and Macri. Cool. TLC Creations is in. Welcome, TLC. Says, good morning. I have chocolate chip brownie cookies, says Muse. Oh, yeah. Jaffa Cakes is a winner, plus 10 XP. Why, who's got Jaffa Cakes? I'd missed that. Whoever said they've got Jaffa Cakes, I missed it. And can I just point out, by the way, that since Dad has now had an Xbox for a day and been playing Skyrim, you see how he put on the end of his comment, 10 XP. He's learned this now. He knows about experience points now. He'll be making all the RPG jokes and critical hit jokes and things. I can see this coming. Well done, Dad. You've passed a milestone. You can do Skyrim memes in your comments and know what they mean now. Just don't do arrow in the knee. That's not cool. Chicken sarnies with mayo and the king of mustards English, says Wayne Haywood. English mustard is correct. Carolina Roberto is in. Hello, Carolina. Nice to see you at the start of the show. You tend to come in at the end sometimes, so it's nice to see you at the beginning. Oh, it's only Connor typing, not Fox, not Lewis. In that case, that's fine, Connor. Don't worry yourself. I thought it was your dad, and your dad knows that I want all the information on your foods. Let's have a look. Mustard yum, says Muse. Right, so I think I'm up to date. Right, so yes, we're going to crack on with the Poxwalkers. We've got hundreds to make. We've got that many, basically. Now, if you're not familiar with what I'm doing, this is the Warhammer Conquest partwork from Hachette Partworks. It's basically an 80-issue monthly part. You get like 4 magazines a month, and in each magazine you get a few bits of plastic to build up 2 armies, a Space Marine army and also a Death Guard Chaos army. It's thanks to my... hang on, wait there. Enormous coffee time. See how big that coffee is compared to my hand. See how big it is compared to a Chaos Space Marine. Death Guard is massive. Hang on. Oh, the Batman Cup of Happiness, yes. Right, so yes. It's thanks to my very, very dear friend and patron George, who's not in chat at the moment. My very good friend and patron George, who made the entire thing possible, that I could subscribe to this, that we're actually going to, because it's down to him, we're going to split it. When it's finished and painted, he's going to get all the Space Marine stuff, and I'm keeping the Death Guard. And I'm working my way through them, and so far we're up to issue cashier number 5, please. Issue number 60. We're on for Death Guard reinforcements. We've got to make 10 Poxwalkers. We've already made 30. Yeah, you get 40 Poxwalkers in this over the course of all the magazines. They're dead simple to build, but they're going to take a while to paint. So yes, and then what we're going to do, like I said before, once I've got everything built, I know most of you know this because I say this every time, but for anybody who's new, my plan is to get everything built, and then when I've finished building everything, do proper painting videos for everything. I did start filming painting some of the figures, but I was following the magazine. I wanted to do a following the magazine thing. But I realised shortly after that was a bit rubbish because the paint jobs weren't that good, so I stopped. I was just parroting the magazine. And I decided in the end, hello, that is from the Raging Model. I'd laugh if you dropped that mini in your coffee. I bet you would as well. It wouldn't do any harm. It would just come out smelling like coffee. Thank you very much, the Raging Model. That's very, very kind of you, my friend. Very, very kind. That's what a super chat looks like. If you didn't know, it's a big coloured thing that I can't miss. Now, I will sometimes not mention it straight away. When you might see it appear here, but I don't mention it until the thing pops up. Because then you won't know. What was I talking about? Gone. It's gone already. Oh, yes. So I did start filming, painting some of the bits. I've got some of the few coats down. But I was parroting the magazine, and there's no point doing that because it's teaching you guys nothing. So I decided to stop. I'll get everything built. I'll go back and strip down all the ones I've already painted. And then we'll do a proper paint job on everything, and I'll film the process. It's going to take me like a good year or two. But we're going to do proper painting tutorials for all the different bits and bobs. But for the moment, we're going to crack on making the Poxwalkers. All the Poxwalkers in the world. So I need D19 and D20. Now, these are not labour intensive. They have like literally 2 or 3 parts at the most. I need my space helmet. I was half wondering if he was going to drop that plague marine into the coffee. Don't know if that would kill him or make him ultra nurgly. I like that word, nurgly. Nurgly is a good word. Yeah. Model Maker Trucker says, roast potato and gravy with my dinner. Is that Connor? Hey, Connor. That sounds fantastic. Roast potato and gravy with the pork. Your mum and dad are giving you the best food in the world. Best food in the world. D19, D20. Oh, numbers on the other side. You spoon. 18... 23, 22, 14, there's 20. I found 20. My God. My God, Miss Jones. It's typical Games Workshop numbering on the sprue, as in it doesn't make any sense at all. There is a little stowage area. There we go. Little receptacle. Roast pork. Ooh, roast pork and roast potatoes and gravy. Whoa. Connor, my dinner's going to be rubbish compared to yours. Jealous now. Right, so this is 19 here. Yeah, good old Games Workshop numbering. Anyway, how is everyone? How are you all? I hope you're all well. It is a beautiful, beautiful day here in the sunny northwest of England, in Cheshire land. Has been for the last few days. I've been out in the garden. Unfortunately, not just sitting on my butt enjoying the sunshine, but sadly doing domestic-y things for Mama Fox. You know, installing water features and all that kind of stuff. Because, you know, she likes these things, but she can't do it herself, so I have to do it, which is fine. It gets me out in the garden for a bit. I can't get to this. Where's the... but yes, I hope you're having the nice weathers. It has been beautiful for the last few days. Been absolutely lovely. If you are warm and sunny where you are and you're spending time outside, of course, make sure to keep yourself hydrated. Always have a big thing of water that you can constantly top up, ready to go. You want to stay hydrated out in this, especially if you're working in the garden or something like that, especially if you're old, because you need to stay hydrated. What's been going on in the world? By world, I mean in my world, not in the world, because that would just depress everybody. What's been going on in my world? Not a lot this week. Like I say, I have been doing housey stuff most of the week. I had hoped to get some streams, some extra time streams done this week, but that didn't happen, unfortunately. I did do one on Monday, which was building a couple of the dinosaurs that were sent to me. Thank you very much, Paul. What else? I have received... oh, that's one thing I have got. I have received... well, 2 things. First of all, I have received a number of packages over the last week. One I know is from Dad. One is from Phil Lewis. And one I think is from Beyond Hope, but it's not clear on the box yet. I haven't opened them yet. If you have sent me something, I know there's a couple others turning up. If you have sent me something, if you are planning on sending me something, you know what I normally do is I get the parcel, I do a little video unboxing, and then I post it up. However, at the moment, for obvious reasons, what I'm doing is any packages that come in that aren't just, you know, from Amazon or something, are going into quarantine. They're being sort of sprayed and soaped up and stuff, and they're left to one side in a safe place just for a few days, because you know, I don't want Mama Fox getting into trouble. So just for safety, all the packages are being quarantined. So if you have sent me a package, please don't be offended if you don't hear anything for a few days, because what I'm doing is I'm building up a little pile of them, and then when I've got 3 or 4, I'll just let them all come out of quarantine, and once they're all out of quarantine, I'll just do a film, a mystery package time film for, you know, the 3 packages I've got. So if there are any more coming that I don't know about, don't be offended if you don't hear anything from me straight away. I will always film an unboxing, a mystery unboxing, to say thank you, but it might just be, you know, a week or so before that happens, just at the moment, just for obvious reasons. Don't be offended. And the other thing is, one of the packages, I say the reason I'm not sure who it's from is because when I sprayed it, you know, to disinfect it and clean it and stuff and get soap and things on it, it made all the ink run on the label. So I don't know if it said on the label who sent it. I don't know yet until I open it. So yeah, there is that. If you are sending me something, I would strongly recommend you make sure whatever is in the box is sealed against liquids, because I do spray them with basically... I was using alcohol, but that's far too expensive, so I'm just using washing up liquid diluted down into a spray bottle. Spraying that on and munging it around to kill off all the chocolate velociraptors that may or may not be on there. So yeah, it might be worth just making sure that whatever you send me is in a box, and maybe in something in the box because it gets sprayed. And if your box is pretty thin and goes damp, yeah. Yeah. Just kind of waterproof it a little bit. Let's have a look. Had me at gravy, says Scale Model Muse, about Connor saying about roast potato and gravy and pork. Chris is in. Chris at Grace Models. Welcome, Chris. Nice hot steak slice now, and then a mint magnum, says Osric. Magnums. A couple of years ago, when we had that really hot summer, my local corner shop suddenly had an endless supply of, I think it was like burnt caramel magnums, and they were the most orgasmic food ever, basically. And we ate hundreds of them, me and Mama Fox. And then I've not had them, not seen them since. But, oh, and we keep forgetting to order some. We've not had any yet. Magnums are nice, but that the burnt caramel or whatever it was, the salted caramel, that's it. Salted caramel became a thing a couple of years ago. Yeah, salted caramel magnums. Oh my life, they were good. It's nice here today, but I'm not outside, says Muse. Yes, I'm not outside. It's getting warm in here as well. Too warm again. I hate the heat, says Mayhem. Yep, I don't mind the heat really during the day. If I can go outside and get the airflow, that's fine. There's a bit of a breeze. But the difficulty I have, like I said here, is that from 6 AM in the morning till maybe 3 PM in the afternoon, the sun is shining through these windows. So I've got the curtains closed, but the curtains aren't light blocking. They let the light through. Otherwise the room would be dark all the time. And that's by choice, because I need as much light as I can get in here. But I don't necessarily want the curtains open. So I keep the curtains and the window closed during the day when the sun's beating down on the window. That was almost a line from an ELO song there. And I keep the windows at the other side of the house that are in the shade open, so it's cooler on that side of the house. But this is also upstairs. And then when the sun's gone around the front of the house, of course, I can start changing which windows and curtains are open. At the end of the day, when it's starting to go a bit cooler outside, and it's warmer inside than it is outside, I can then open my windows up, and the warm air will go out into the outside world, and the room will gradually cool down. But for this kind of stream, which is right in the premium temperature time, I can't have the window open. Much as I would like to get rid of the heat from the lights and stuff, it's just not going to help me, because it'll just let the warm air in. Although it will equalise out, it'll still be right warm. Yes, I have to sit and suffer for my art. I don't mind. And on most days, it's quite lucky that, you know, we managed to get the temperature equalised. For some reason, downstairs in the house always is nice and cool. Always. It's never hot downstairs. Upstairs, because all the heat rises, upstairs can be a living hell sometimes. Right, so I think there's no more steam lines on this puppy here. Let's have a look. I do have a headache. I hope to be recovered for tonight, so I may nap, says Chris at Chris Models. Take prescribed drugs, dude. Always the answer. Take your paracetamols or your Nurofens or whatever. And yeah, nap might be a decent idea. A pleasant idea. Especially on a hot, sticky day. Nothing worse than a headache. There's a seam line down there. I can't quite get to it with the seam line removal tool. Right, do let me know if the head gets in the way, by the way, because again, I'm moving the camera all the time. I never know where the camera is. I'm not that professional. I need to clear my throat. 1 second. There we go. That's a bit better. Right, where's my big brush of brushings? Candygram from Mono is in. I'll say that again. Candygram from Mongo is in. Welcome, Candygram. Lewis or Model Making Trucker says hi. Candygram from Connor. Lewis has stepped away to send some resin. So Connor, his lad Connor is manning his keyboard. Would it be nice to Connor? And I did tell Lewis he needs to wear a mask to sand his resin. Otherwise, you know, death. Turn into Death Guard. Right, I think that's all the little seaming. No, there's a seam line there. Mew says it's been hot as Hades. Finally, a nice cool day. Model Making Mayhem. Grr, hard as hell to pimp my page hero. Page hero. Forgetting that it's not allowed. What? You can pimp your stuff on my chat, in my chats, and in the Boom Hut. What's a page hero? I don't know what a page hero is. I don't know what you mean by a page hero. Doodaloo, doodaloo, doo. Very special hello to Connor, says Candygram. And after this, I have to go and do laundry, says Muse. Oh, boo. Can you not just not do the laundry and just wear something else, or just wear the clothes for a bit longer? I do have to admit, and it's not the nice thing, but I do have to admit that since we've been on lockdown and I don't have to go into public, I have been wearing t-shirts and things maybe for a bit longer than I normally would, because I can't be bothered. There's no point. I'm not seeing anyone. If they're not stinky, they're good to go. As far as I'm concerned, if it's not stinky and I don't have to see the public outside, I don't care. Got to have some upside to all this nonsense. Work stuff. Oh, okay, yeah, no, you need to do that. Right. Hopefully I'm in shot. Yes. Again, I don't know where the camera is. I never know. Right, that was a bit of a tricky one to get rid of all the mold lines on that one. Tricky little fellow. Let's do his head. My work stuff gets gross on normal days, but now, yeah. Oh, meant to type page. Okay. Are you having an issue? Are you having a moment there, Mayhem? Oh, it means you can't pimp his stuff and link. Oh yeah, if you do have a YouTube channel or some such, I'm more than happy for people to pimp their stuff. Now, of course, if you're in the chat, the only people that can actually put links in chat are the mods. So if you've got something you want to pimp, don't be like selling things. Don't pimp a shop, because you know I have sponsors but if you've got a YouTube page or a Facebook page or whatever. For your hobby, and you want to show off, get followers and things, then do feel free. So you guys can't post in chat, post links, so just let the mods know. Get in touch with the mods and give them the link, or tell them what your channel's called or whatever it is, and if they've got a second, they'll go and find it and post a link up for you. I have no problem with that. Some people don't like people promoting their own stuff. Like I said, as long as you're not selling something, you're not like a store or selling a service. I love it, because the whole point of what I do is to teach people, and that includes, teaching people how to do things, but also encouraging them to forge their own YouTube path or their own blog or website path. All about sharing If I can encourage people to do stuff and share and then do the same as me, then brilliant. I don't mind. We're all just one big floppy community. Did I mean to use the word floppy there? I don't know. Probably not. Right. Coffee. What else has been going on this week? Not a lot, to be perfectly honest. As I say, I've been doing housey holdy stuff for a fair bit this week. Right, time for glue. Thick, extra thin. This is for weight bearing stuff. Is it on camera? This is for load bearing stuff. This is for attaching non-load bearing stuff. Now I do apologise, the camera's at a funny angle, so it's all weird. I keep having to hold things like that, but yeah, never mind. So, gonna stick him to the base. So we're gonna use the thick cement. Now I know some of you know this. So I know some of you don't, some of you do. So I'll put the question to the chat. There's no prize, but why am I using the thick cement for this? If it's sunken, I say it every week. Get some audience participations. Why am I using the thick cement? Yeah, that kind of, never mind. And when you answer that question, pretend that didn't happen. Yeah. Time to see if you've learned. Why am I using the thick cement? You're using it because it's open, says Paul. Spoon. Dad's putting up links for people's stuff. Longer than normal. He's on his second shirt of lockdown. Please. Third. So look. People asking stuff to be pimped. Load bearing, says Model Making Mayhem. Holds it in place. Yes, exactly. You like the smell, says Osric. Load bearing, says Mayhem again. Yes. If I'd done that with the extra thin, it wouldn't stick on there. You're learning things. This is very thick and viscous, so even though it's not as strong a bond as this, just for the first few seconds it's a gloopy liquid, it'll just hold it in place by surface tension. So for arms and things like that and putting people on bases, it's the best thing. You go just with the extra thin, it evaporates so quickly that it wouldn't hold it. So once I've got that on, I can put a touch of the extra thin underneath into the little gap, and this will just, as I throw it, this will just then adhere it even better to the base. Hello, Mama Fox.
Hello. Hello.
Yes. So, yes, the extra thin will now work its way into all the little gaps, and it'll do a better job of bonding the plastic to the other plastic than this will. This is still a very good glue, but this is better. Right, and attachivate the head. Osric 9000 says, I'm sworn to carry your burdens. Now we're going to glue the head in. Let's head in. I don't need big fat glue for this one, although sometimes you do, but for this I can just put a touch of the extra thin in there into a little pool of it, and then splobe his head in there. Splobe's a real word, I just decided. There you go. It's not particularly load bearing, so I can just, it'll hold its own weight basically. There you go. There's a trade-off with the two glues. This is nice and thin and watery, and it goes into gaps. It doesn't leave too much of a mess. This is gloop. And if you're trying to glue something tiny, it'll splooge out and make a mess, and it'll be lumps and bumps. You've got to balance the load-bearing capability of that temporary, or you want to have a neat glue job. If it's something tiny, you want extra thin. People saying hello to Mama Fox. She's gone now. Yo, Mama Fox in the house, dropping sick gangster rhymes, says Team Inept. I can't do that kind of voice. Any kind of, like, you know, urban, rappy type, but I can't do it. Caterpillar action, says Model Making Mayhem. Yeah. Right, so we've done one. One dude, and he's got guts hanging out and everything. Is gross. Models. Don't forget, of course, although Dad's actually going around putting everybody's links for channels and things, the other mods can do the same thing as well. If any of the other mods want to help out while Dad's going around pasting everybody's channel links. Not just Dad that has to do that. Right, next we have D6 and D7. D6, D7. D6, D7. Yeah, come on, says Dad. Yeah, don't leave it all to Dad to do it. You monsters. D6 and D7. So let's have a look. We have upside down printing. That's 6 there. 6 is waving and hammers. As always, I'm using the big clunky Games Workshop nippers to get him off the sprue. And then I'll go in with the delicate god hands shortly. Because I don't want to destroy my delicate god hands. The nubs on these will just destroy god hand nippers. Don't use them straight off the sprue. There we go. I appreciate this is a bit awkward with the camera where it is. Do mine next, says Chris at Gross Models. You can pimp your own nonsense. You know. Paul says www. No, wrong link. Filth and dirt and filth. Right, what else are we going to talk about? What's been going on? Not a lot else been going on. I have been enjoying watching the wildlife in our garden while I've been working in the garden. It's a bit lackluster this year. Normally we have like millions of flying things and all that kind of stuff. We have, I don't know if I said this before, but we have, you remember last year we had the tree bees living in the kitchen roof. They've returned. We have the tree bees back, the flying nonsense machines. They are back. And fuzzy as ever. We have the wood pigeons are still farting about, but they seem to be a bit... We didn't do a lot of bird feeding last year. For some reason, we kind of stopped feeding them quite as much last year. And they seem to have forgotten all about it. So we put food out now. We've got some bird food and stuff and peanuts and seeds. And they're a bit... You know, they don't seem very keen at the minute. I think they've forgotten that they can get food from the feeders. So we've got some feeders out. Peanuts. We've got a little family of squiggles in the garden. We've got a grown-up. And we've got a couple of little baby squiggles doing all the squiggly things in the garden. I've had to chase off the neighbour's cat a few times, as it likes to try and take out a squirrel or two. And I'm like, how about no? Some magpies and little tiny finches and little tiny birds. And yes, I like garden times. I like sometimes just sitting out in the garden. And I'll tell you, it's really nice at the minute because there's not as much traffic noise. You know, because there's not as much traffic. It's quite nice that you can hear the bird song better. So you know all the blackbirds, and there's a robin that lives in one of our trees and it's dead loud. Like the robin is like this big, and yet it's like listening to a police siren through a loud hailer. It's like, wow, for such a tiny bird, I've got a big gob, big powerful set of lungs. Very nice. Which was quite pleasant, although Mama Fox, I installed a water feature for Mama Fox yesterday, which is like a little trickly bird feeder bath thing, which sounds really great until you realise it actually sounds like just somebody having a great big wee constantly. It's like, wow, that's really loud. Really loud. Little trickly water feature's a nice burbling thing, but this is like... It's like that episode in The Bill where he gets into trouble for making loud. His neighbour reports him for weeing directly into the middle of the bowl. What was the character's name? This is the actor that just sadly passed away this week. Can't remember what was the character's name? The one with the moustache that was a bit leery, a little bit, yeah, ladies' man type. What was his name? I can't remember. Anyway, he left. He quit the police force, his character, because his neighbour was giving him grief, and he got into trouble, and then it all went wrong. I forgot the character's name, and I should know because I know everything about the Bill. I'm the biggest Bill fan there is. Get your feeders out, says David Sanderson. Yes. Has the Hog of Hedges returned, asks Nim. No, we've got no hedgehog this year. It kind of didn't come back last year really much. It kind of did for a bit and then vanished. I think they just found somewhere better suited to their needs. We bought an expensive hedgehog house that had like a lid you can lift, and we put straw in it. And bizarrely, it's 2 years later and the straw still smells fresh. You know, it's like this big wooden thing with a latch, and you can open it up to replace the straw inside, and yeah, nothing ever moved in apart from spiders and snails. Oh. Moustache and a bit leery. Do you mean Ted? Says Paul. Yeah, Ted. Ted when he was in the bill. You installed the water feature in Mama Fox, says Chris. No. 4. 4, dear boy, not in. You. Baby ducks are hiding behind my house, says Muse. That is adorable. Where's the grown-up duck? What else have we got going on? There is a fox around here somewhere. You hear it, but it doesn't live in our garden, sadly. I've not seen it. You hear it shouting occasionally. And of course, there's all the usual little creatures and insecty things. And Mama Fox had a shield bug on her foot yesterday. I said, "What's that on your foot?" And she was about to wipe it off, and I went, "Stop, stop!" This is what I said, "It's a shield bug. For the love of God, do not squash it. It will stink." Yeah, the stink bugs, shield bugs. But it was like that big, and I'm like, I've never seen one that big before. So she gently got it off her foot, and I gently escorted it back into the green areas of the garden, away from the patio. So I was like, "Yeah, don't squash it. Thank God you didn't squash it. Oh, that would have been just bad." The cat was trying to catch a bird, says Nim. My roommate's cat jumped into the sliding glass door that goes out into our balcony, hitting the vertical blinds. He had to have jumped like 3 foot 1 metre high. Never seen him jump that high before. Tosh, that's it. No, not Tosh. No, not Tosh. The other one. He was a bit of a cad type. He had a moustache. Not Tosh Lines. Fox, do you have a pet cat? Says Carolina. No, we don't have any pets. When I was younger, we used to have a couple of cats. For many years, and when I was very, very small, we had dogs, but not that I actually remember because I was too young. But we don't really have pets because Mama Fox is allergic to dog hair apparently, and she doesn't want a cat. So, yeah, but I like the fact you've got a little pet cat. You've got a picture of a cat in a box. I like that. Box cat. No cats, no pets. Yeah, I'd like a dog, but unfortunately, not really practical right at the moment. Really, especially with Mama Fox being allergic, and also I love dogs to be. I absolutely adore dogs, big dogs. But I'm also the laziest man in the world, and I really can't be bothered walking dogs. It's like, oh, I love dogs, but I hate all the admin. I hate the admin. But yes, I wouldn't get a dog. It'd be cruel. Much as I'd love one. Be far too lazy. I just feed it all snack feeds and it'd get fat. And even if it wasn't Labrador, it would turn into a fat Labrador. I quite like it, a cat would be cool. I don't mind cats, but I'd have to have a cat that stayed indoors because as someone who enjoys, putting food out for the birds and enjoys watching the little creatures in the garden, having a cat would just wipe all those out. So, yeah. Cats are like the most invasive species. So it would be a house cat if I had a cat. But again, Mama Fox, yeah, no, she doesn't want a cat, so never mind. No. I occasionally get a housefly that stays in this room and follows me everywhere around the room. Usually get at least 1 or 2 a year. I count that as a pet. It kind of wakes up when I wake up and it goes to bed when I go to bed, and it seems to just only be attracted to my lights and not any other lights. Does that count? Housefly. Happy weekend, Fox and friends, says Ateris. Welcome, Ateris. Oh no, says Carolina. Yeah, killer cat. Yeah. I like cats. I prefer dogs. I'm more of a dog person than a cat person, but I don't mind cats. We've had cats before. Cats have their moments of coolness. But like I say, I'm too lazy to have a dog, and I like garden wildlife too much to have a cat. And I don't know. I know, like I said, I'd be like, the cat would have to stay indoors, but I don't know if I'm comfortable with an indoor cat, because the cat's a natural hunter and predator. Its nature is to be out hunting stuff. They're not evil. They're just doing what the nature designed them to do. So having a cat but keeping it indoors all the time, I don't know, it just doesn't work for me, that. I don't know if it's grown up like that, it doesn't know any better, but it just seems weird. Like keeping a bird in a cage, it just doesn't sit well with me, so. Retro Rabbit's in. Welcome, Retro Rabbit. It says, I get these tiny moths every so often in the house. Year round too, only one or two. We've had a right spate of moths, like little tiny moths lately. I'm throwing out at least one a night. And it's usually towards the end of the night as I'm sat there, like, you know, with my computer watching something. And suddenly a moth decides that the television, the computer monitor is the brightest thing in the room. It'll come and fly around that. And I'm like, oh, hello. If it's a little tiny moth, I'll just leave it. I would know if it's late at night, I'll just leave it because they don't bother me. But if it's early enough in the day and I can be bothered, I'll go and throw it out. Because I'd rather throw it out and it live to see another day than die of starvation in the house. I like creatures. Ghost Lyle says pineapple, 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 pineapple. Team Inept says the whole cats kill everything thing is garbage based on my experience. Your experience is wrong. They're predators. That's what they do. Look at any, like, you know, reports and RSPB or other like wildlife trust reports on things like cats. Not that they kill everything. It's just that they are one of the biggest predators for natural wildlife. The real problem with them in Australia. They're killing a lot of native wildlife. And it's kind of why here in the UK, if you run over a dog, you have to report it by law because it's an animal and whatever. If you run over a cat, you're not legally required to report it to anyone because cats are actually classed as vermin, believe it or not, in the eyes of the law. Retro says, oh, my cat indoor is 20 years old, diabetic and half Siamese, half Russian blue. Loves to sing the ballad of my dish is empty in 12 parts nightly. Yes. The ballad of my dish is empty. My roommate's cats are the laziest floofs I've ever seen. Right now they're taking up half of the couch and I've been there since I woke up. Yep. Let's check the pantry. Moth says Scale Muse. I'll read that whole thing again. Scale Model Muse says, ooh, moths, best check the pantry. They get in everything. Chris says everything kills everything in Australia, though. Yeah, good point. I do like cats. I say, if I do at some point get a pet one day, it'll probably be a cat because I am just far too lazy. Even though I prefer dogs, I'm far too lazy. Plus, in my mind, you see, I would want the dog to be like some kind of Hollywood dog where it kind of understands what you're saying and responds like... Do you know what I mean? Like in movies where the dog seems to be incredibly intelligent and understanding of human speech. It's not reality, of course. You give a dog a command, it'll just sit there or crap on the carpet or something. But, you know, that kind of... I always kind of wish dogs were like that. Because then it really would be your best mate. But yeah. My snakes are harmless, not cuddly. I like snakes. Feral cats are an issue because humans are idiots, says Muse. Get them fixed and keep them in. My aunt's cat is the most savage thing I've seen. No other cat or dogs go near that street anymore. Retro says to Chris, no, that's Tassie, where everything is actively trying to kill it, even the grass, apparently. I thought Australia was the death place. Tasmania was just by association, I would have thought. Maybe I'm wrong. Space Hamster is in. Welcome, Space Hamster. Right, that's his body done and his head done. We're on route to get our second dude finished. I know, second dude. Finishing up HG Giara Zulu to date. That's a great kit. I've done one. Giara's is brilliant. And starting on a Machining Krieger White Knight, and I've no idea what I'm eating. That's usually my tactic. Just find something and just put it in your mouth. Put it in your face. Don't even think about it. Even when I make the food, sometimes I've no idea what I'm eating. I'm not going to use that base. Put a dimple in the middle. Get this guy splonged onto his base. Lunge. Luge. Pressing down with the pressing of pressness. There we go. That's what you couldn't do with extra thin. He would not stick. Yeah, this base that I got out there's got a big dub in the middle. Let me just get that out. Big nubbin right in the centre, which is not awesome. It'll get covered up with a texture, but I don't want a big nipple sticking up. Nipple! Fox, stop mixing Africa and Australia for wildlife killers. Everything kills everything in Australia. I mean, some things kill things in Africa, but everything kills everything. Literally everything will kill humans. You know, even in Australia, even the herbivores are deadly. There's nothing in Australia, like just the air is just out to get you. Even the creatures that don't exist are dangerous in Australia. Even the mythical creatures are really a threat. Everything in Australia is a threat. Tassie is worse for lethal everything. Cats just look down on you, says Nim, because they remember we used to worship them as gods. Yes. Damn Egyptians have got a lot to answer for. They got a lot to answer for, they have, you swines. How's that? Second to do its business, its dirty business. Now this guy has this bit which attaches via hopes and dreams and magicness, I think, this bit. It just kind of sits there. How? What? How does it even attach? Do you even lift, bro? Ah, it's one of these nebulous attachment points where you just have to guess how it's going to attach. Ah, I see now. I don't see at all. Goes around the back of the head like what? This is making no sense at all. We were doing so well, and then they give me some bit that just... I don't see how that... Or do I? Wait. Thinking. Ooh. That may have been a successful... Ooh, hello. Is it going to go that way? Oh, I see. Does it? No. There we go. There it is. There she is. Get a bit of thick glue on there. Only a tiny amount. My cat just glared at you, Foxy. Because I haven't got the food. Cats don't like me because I don't share food anyway. I think they instinctively know that they've got no chance of getting anything off me. There we go. Wow, that was not an intuitive piece to add. Dad's still popping up links to people's pages and YouTube channels. Anyone watch SpaceX NASA Dragon take off yesterday? Asks Dad. I didn't even see it. I missed all of it. I did see the photograph that somebody put up in one of our chats, and it was comparing the dashboard of the Dragon, the Crew Dragon, whatever it's called, compared to like the dashboard and it's not the dashboard, you know what I mean? The instrument panel of the space shuttle compared to the instrument panel of the Crew Dragon capsule thing, and it was like space shuttle 8 billion switches, the Dragon thing 3 screens, and it was like that's really cool. But what happens if the screens break? Because in the space shuttle you've got 1 million switches. So let's say there's 700 switches. The chance of a switch failing is 1 in 700. If there's 700 switches, the chance of that one little flip switch failing is 1 in 700. If you've got a console with 3 screens, the chance of that screen with all the important controls on it failing is 1 in 3. I'm assuming it's all touch control screens, you see. So I can't help thinking it looks cool, but I can't think it's a really dangerous idea, because if just a 1 in 3 chance of that screen dying. Especially if it was me flying it, it will be the screen that has the not crashing button on it. Yeah. There we go. Second dude done. 2 dudes, and it's only been less than an hour. Look at that. And that was still with 10 minutes of waffle at the start. Cats are only hanging around humans because they don't have port-operated can openers. Nim says, the funny thing is the big fleefy grey tomcat will let you hang it upside down and he won't do anything about it, not even let out his cute squeak of a mew. Yeah, you pardon the pun. Some cats are just pussies. See what I did there? Actually, that was genius. That was. Took me seconds to come up with that in my brain. Hero week. Try the fish. They did need all the switches though. It's not like they put them in for a giggle. I only saw. I've not seen any of it, so I only saw a still shot of the console, the instrument panel. I assume, do they have lots of switches as well? Then, or is it literally just 3 flat screens? I don't know. Because you know Elon Musk is just an idiot, so very wealthy idiot. But Elon Musk is just like a nutter, so I can imagine he would just have like one. Elon Musk would be like, "You just need one giant button to control everything. There you go, done." Because he's not actually a normal person. D4 and D5. D4 and D5. You came here in that thing? You're braver than I thought. D4 onto D5 is 1. The scissor stick. Maybe do. Oh, snippety snip. There we go. D4. And also D5, which is somebody with a sword. Big wavy sword. Is it that one? Yes. Of course, because 5 is not next to 4. 5 is actually right next to 24. Because of course it is. Spoons. Which bit of make sense does not make sense to you? Ready. Carefully, because those little dangly chaos marks and charms and things that are guaranteed to snap off. Having 700 switches is much more likely that one will break, yes, but 1 in 700 chance. Just bare mathematics. My mathematics makes perfect sense and I will not have it challenged. In my mind. Where are we? Musk is a rich nutter. Yeah, pretty much. Docking is only completed in the last half hour or so. Really smooth, says Dad. Terminator and Star Wars, a strange mix in an impression. Yeah, I know. It's all on the back of a live show a few weeks ago when it all went a bit weird. When we did the last Boom Hut moderator show, and it got very strange. It was like Arnie quotes from movies he wasn't in. What else has been going on? So how have you all been anyway? How are you all coping with all the shenanigans going on in your part of the world? Hopefully you're all well and staying well. Oh, put a nub right on this hand, why don't you? Thanks, Obama. Bad place to put a really gnarly nub on a gnarly finger. Guaranteed to remove the finger whilst trying to remove the nub. Fine. Let's see if Fox managed to get all 10 Poxwalkers built this stream. Highly unlikely, but I'm not going to rule it out. It's not impossible. It's just not likely. Like, you know, the chance of Alan Carr not being annoying and slappable. Not impossible, but it's highly unlikely. Can't stand Alan Carr. God, I can't stand. Certain people, you know. Ooh. Got the sniffles. I have a headache. I may have mentioned it, says Chris. Why are you not snoozing? I'm glad that you're not snoozing because it means you're watching. But I'm grateful for the fact your commitment here to the cause. But I thought you were going to go and do snoozing. Nim's got the hiccups. Half my town is plum grunting crazy, but I'm good, says Muse. Space Hamster ZH, oh dear. So I've just started this kit, and literally the first nub I cut off, the first piece I'm prepping, turns out to be a peg I should have left on. Dude. It's not how that goes. That's just not a good state of affairs at all. That. No. Is it a Bandai kit? There's normally a little thing that says, you know, don't cut this bit off. If it's not a Bandai kit, then it's not very good if the manufacturer hasn't said don't cut this bit off. Or were you just being special and totally missed that bit? Did you jump ahead and just assume? I've made that mistake. It's always a bad mistake to make. I know best. I'll just... Oh. Yeah, I've just messed it. Hopefully it's nothing too catastrophic and you can recover it though. I like the boots on these. I know you can't see, but I like the boots on these Poxwalkers. I'm also not in shop. I like the boots on these Poxwalkers. They look really cool. They're proper industrial, hardcore working man boots. Because they're all just like citizens of whatever world was taken over, turned into decaying zombies. So they're just like citizens of the Imperium. They're all wearing like, obviously it's like from some kind of agri world or industrial hive world or something. Manufactorum world, because they're all wearing like, you know, utility belts and stuff. They're not soldiers and things, they're just civilians. It's a Hasagawa kit and the peg is really small and really honestly looks like a nub. Ah, yeah, well, they should have called it out in the instructions and said, dude, don't cut this off. Based Hamza says, I'm going back to bed, FFS. Is it recoverable? Paul Di Tommaso is in. Hey Paul, hope you're feeling good, dude. You feeling better? Although, having said all about these being like, you know, industrial workers and stuff, this guy's actually got a holster. So this guy may have been, I don't know. I'm just making it up. I'm just trying to fill dead air. I like the boots. Let's just leave it at that. It should be okay. The part needs to be glued on anyway. Afternoon Fox says, Beck Storm, I can't believe I missed the dinosaur stream the other day. Finished watching it and ordering KFC for the first time ever. Good effort. KFC's the best. We had it last night. Oh, yes. I only discovered... I actually had my first KFC kind of this time last year. Because I was always of the mindset of, I don't really like KFC. It's just chicken. What's the big deal? I must have had some as a kid and not been impressed. So I've always been like, what's the point? It's just chicken. What? Who cares? And then, like, about a year ago, for some reason, we decided to have KFC. And it was like, oh my G. I need to eat more of this now. Now, I do find, I don't know if this is just me, but I do find, like, you go into McDonald's or Burger King or somewhere like that, you walk in, you look at the menu and think, I'll have that. But for some reason in KFC, I walk and look at the menu and I just get into a panic because I can't tell what anything is and none of it makes sense. And I just go, ah! What's a piece? Tell me, what is that a leg or a thigh or a breast or a drumstick, or what is a piece? Has it got ribs? Oh. And then I start panicking, so I just end up getting the boneless box because it's the easiest thing. See, I love drumsticks. I love drumsticks. Oh, I love drumsticks because you can just go nom 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 cartoon food. It's brilliant. But it's the one thing they seem to never have available is drumsticks. I just want to buy a bucket of drumsticks. Why is this impossible for KFC to do? They can give me a bucket full of half chicken bits that I have to fart about and pull to pieces to get the meat off the bone. I don't want that. I don't want to disassemble a puzzle to eat. I want to just put it in my face and go nom nom nom. So, you know, you might get a meal bucket and you might get a couple of drumsticks in there. But you'll also get the nonsense with the bones and the ribs and the lips and things. It's like, ugh, no. I just want drumsticks. So I have to make do with the boneless thing, which is like, you know, fillet and then some balls, chicken balls. They're quite nice. But yeah, so my mind was blown. I'm like, oh, so we have it quite often now, or we used to have it quite often until the world became on fire. But now they do deliveries now. We can get deliveries through. I wanted to use Deliveroo because they've got the cool logo like a kangaroo, but they don't seem to be. Somebody's not told them that all the local takeaways are doing deliveries again. Because it's like, you go to KFC website. Yes, you can have deliveries through Uber, through Just Eat, or through Deliveroo. Brilliant. I'll click on the Deliveroo thing. Click. It says, hi, we're not doing deliveries from KFC at the moment. KFC just told me you are. Have you not got the memo? so I didn't get a delivery. I just like the name and I like the logo. I think it's brilliant. Delivery is just a great name. Just sounds so perfect. Paul DiTomaso says, really, Fox, over here, if you wanted drumsticks, they will be happy to do so. Most people want the white meat. I just love drumsticks. They're just no mess. You go, drumstick, bone. And you get that with the wings, the hot wings. You can go hot wing, bone. And there's no fuss, but you don't get as much on a hot wing. By the way, Paul, I now have a Canadian Amazon store. There's no link in the description because I forgot to put it in there, but I now have a Canadian Amazon store. Just so you know. Just so you know. I've not had a McDonald's though. I know McDonald's is crap. I know McDonald's is crap, but it doesn't mean that I haven't wanted a McDonald's for like the last 12 weeks. I really wish we had a Burger King right now because I much prefer Burger King to McDonald's, but we don't have one local. The nearest one is like Warrington, and I'm not driving to Warrington just for Burger King. Forget that. There's no one that does deliveries. We used to have one nearby, and then it got replaced with a Pizza Hut, and I'm like, who gives a crap about Pizza Hut? Carl's in. Carl at Making Models. Hey, Carl. All our local KFCs are attached to Taco Bells in my area, so extra bathroom fun. Oh, yes. Tonight we are having Bench and Belly for me. Yes, Bench obviously is more Poxwalkers. the last 10 of our 40 Poxwalkers. Belly tonight will be roast beef, Yorkshire puds, roasties, broccoli, and all the other bits and bobs, but not cooked. It's our local Belgian bar. Because they're not obviously open as a bar, they've started doing food. Well, they did food anyway, but they didn't do like full-on food. But they do like food takeaway, delivery food now, because they need to stay in business. And we kind of discovered them the other day, because I can't stand Belgian beers mostly, and I can't stand Belgian bars, because they're just overpriced poncy nonsense. But we were looking for somewhere that did deliveries during the pandemic, and they were like, hey, we do a roast Sunday dinner. I was like, okay, I'll have all of those, please. And it's not brilliant, it's not perfect, it's a bit overpriced, but you know what? It would have been a packet of bolognese and some gnocchi for dinner otherwise, because we're living off our stored supplies at the moment, so we'll take an occasional roast beef dinner, even if it's a bit rum. We don't mind. Afternoon all from a blistering hot Aberdeen, says Athol. Welcome, Athol. Just get the bargain bucket, says David Sanderson. Now, the stuff with bones in really makes me angry because it's farting about. I don't want to have to fight with food. The little pendant here, see this little pendant thing? This is just going to snap off. Watch this. There's no way to trim that without. I can honestly tell you that of all these Death Guard, when they are finally finished and painted, not one of them will have one of these little dangly fly pendants. Because they don't survive. They last like 2 minutes. Just by the process of sanding or painting, they are destroyed. Retro Rabbit says, guilty Canadian. What? A Canadian Amazon store? I wonder who brought that up yesterday, says Retro Rabbit. Yeah, I don't know where I got that idea. To be fair, though, I've got the US store and the UK store. And I did want to do more, but there are some limitations of Amazon stores. Is you just basically link to products in the Amazon website, which is great, but there's no way. A, it takes forever, but also there's no way to track what's in stock and what isn't. So I don't, unless I go through every week and look at all the products, and if it's out of stock, find something else, because I'm just linking to things. So it could be that half the stuff I list in the store is just out of stock or no longer exists. I don't know. So there's a lot of admin involved, and it's a bit of a pain. And it's more than that, though. It's mostly that setting up and that kind of thing on Amazon is a right pain, depending on where you're setting up. I set up the UK one, and it was fairly logical and straightforward, and I could figure it out, no problem. Up and running in a few minutes. I set up the US one. And it was like, what the hell? It was typical. It was almost like Google in its obscurity. That it made no sense, and I had to, basically setting up the US Amazon store involved filling out the contact form for for Amazon support, saying, how the hell do I actually do this thing that you're telling me that you want me to do? Because as is the way with things like Google and Microsoft and Amazon, half of the time their own how-to files don't actually make any sense. That drives me nuts. It seems nowadays that so many things have, like, don't know what to do? Click here, and you click there, and it gives you all the outdated information, or it gives you half the information. Microsoft are typical for having, like, either outdated information, or they'll just drop something in without explaining it. It's like, how do I do X? You need to go to this menu, yes, and then when you're in that menu, yes, click on X. Wait, where's that? That's not on my menu. That's not the menu that I'm looking at. And it'll be on like some sub-menu. Click on whatever it is. It'll be on some sub-menu they haven't told you about. They tend to miss bits out. Photoshop, Adobe. Adobe are the worst for doing things like assuming that you know. So it's like, you like go to the Adobe help files. How do I do X? And it'll be like, to do X, you need to choose this, that, and the other from this menu, from the stuff menu. It's like, brilliant. Where the hell is the stuff menu? And they'll tell you. Bleh, wow. They'll tell you where to go, like which menu, but they won't tell you where that menu is. To select an outline, use the such and such tool on the fill menu. Brilliant. Where's the fill? And there's no menu called fill because it's actually a sub menu of another thing. So, Movavi, the software I use for my video editing, they're rubbish because they're help files. They do have help files, but half of them are like relate to older versions of Movavi that just don't exist anymore. It'll say, here's how you do this function. And it's got all helpful screenshots. Just go to this menu, do this, and that's brilliant. But that's for the one from 4 years ago. That doesn't look anything like current Movavi. What? That's not helpful. YouTube just tend to not make any sense. They're often vague. And they do the same thing as Photoshop and Google. They'll say, go to this menu and press that button. Okay, brilliant. Where's that button? Where's the menu? It's like a just draw the flipping owl, basically. I've forgotten what I was talking about now. Oh yes, set up the Amazon store. It was a case of the UK one is like to boil it down to simple. It'd be like, click a button. I want to set up an Amazon store. Brilliant. There you go. Here's a storefront. Put link to products. There you go. Done. Thank you very much. Have a cup of tea and a nice sit down. That's the British one. The American one. I want to become do an Amazon store. Okay. That's it. So then you have to hunt around, look on the internet, and then, oh, right, I have to become an influencer first. Right, so I'll become an influencer. You are now an influencer. Brilliant. Off you go. Wait, where do I get the store? What? More emails to go to Amazon. Oh, I have to then you have to be an influencer first and then set up a oh, right, and it's not explained well anywhere. It was a nightmare. So when it came to do the Canadian one, at the time, it was kind of the same as the American one. I was like, I really can't be fussed. It's just, I don't want to go through all that again. It was a living hell. It took about 5 days to set up the American store because it was waiting for Amazon support to come back to me to answer basic questions. Why don't you become an influencer? Brilliant. How do I do that? I'm not going to tell you. Fantastic. But it's changed now. It's a lot simpler. You still have to become an influencer and then set up a store. But it's kind of like, fill out the thing to be an influencer. Brilliant. Can I set up a store? Yeah, there you go. Brilliant. It's a lot more simple now. We do have a Canadian Amazon store. Same thing as the American and the UK one, basically. Just order your stuff. It just doesn't cost you any more, but it really helps me out. Helps this channel. Helps support this channel. If the stuff you want adding that's not in the store, because obviously I'm not going to have everything in the world because I've got other things to do than I'm not actually running the store. I'm just linking to stuff. So if there's something in there that you need that you can't see, if it's not there, or if it's out, just drop me a line and let me know, and I can add it in like literally a minute. It literally is. Find the item. If there's a product you want to get through my store and it's not there, just contact me with the link to that product, and I will then just simply add that product to the store. And we'll be done. There you go, done. It's really warm in here right now. Let's have a look where we're up to. Ew, Burger King says Muse banned. Burger King's nice. Call it make a model says astronauts are just arriving at the Spurs station. Spurs. Space. Hey, lady, hey, say, space. Wanna go space, let's go space. Wanna go space. Are you space? I am your father. We are proud of you, son. That's not exactly the right quote, but it's close enough. Let's have a look. Used to work as tech support years ago in Manchester, and all the calls we got from users who couldn't understand the manual, says Dad. Yeah. George is in. Hey, George. Welcome, buddy. How you doing, George? George is in. Oh. George is, of course, for this project, a wonderful benefactor, but not in like a Half-Life 2 kind of benefactor way. Not in like a bad way. George is, of course, the one who will receive all the Space Marine goodness from this artwork. Hope you are well, George, and fine and dandy. Oops. Yeah, so like I say, Canadian, go to the Amazon store. If there's something there, if you want something that's not in the store, let me know. And if you need to pick something up, basically, if you need to pick something up, before you go and just look on Amazon as a default search, just look in my store first and have a look, because it might be in there. And if not, I can't. Paul Di Tommaso picked up a Lindbergh Protoceratops kit for £3.50 a few days ago. Only problem with it is trying to get the head attached. There's no connection points at all. Chris says it goes on the neck. Thumb up. Yeah, those old Lindbergh kits. Yeah, they're kind of a breed of their own, the Lindbergh kits. They started off doing medical models, didn't they, and things like that, and little wooden aircraft and stuff. Lindbergh kits is like a look into the past. It's the way kits were hundreds of years ago, but they still make them. And of course, they also make their medical kits, which is where the human tooth, the 8:1 scale human tooth comes from. That we legendarily did on the E-model show one week, and it sold out. It was brilliant. They were like, I said, how did it go when we had the human tooth model? He said, we actually sold our entire stock of them. They've been on the shelf for years. Yeah, we never sold them. Then you put it on the show and then they all went. Like, of course. Who's not going to want to buy a human tooth in 8 scale? As in 8 times bigger than the real thing, not 8 times smaller. Why not? Why the devil not, sir? I'm being a bit generous with the extra thin here because this bit of his body, it's not just his head, it's like his half his torso as well is attached. And there's obviously a gap between the two parts. But he's supposed to be an organic being. So for these guys, if you're building poxwalkers and you get the thing where, for example, you've got an obvious gap halfway down the chest, don't worry about it. Don't start thinking you've got to use fillers. Just get your extra thinner. Just be a bit more generous with it. It will kind of munge the plastic a little bit and it'll pool in the gap. And then it will just kind of set and it'll seal that gap. You'll be fine. 3. We've done 3. Dry. 4:15 and I've done 3 dudes. I am on a roll. I reckon we'll get 5 done today. Slap that thumb, folks. Thank you very much, Carl. Don't forget, if you are watching this, make sure to hit the thumbs up. And of course, like and subscribe as well. And as I always say, not just for myself, but if you have a channel of content, if you have a content provider, or content creator, I should say, and you like their content and you want to make sure they continue to make good content, always hit the thumbs up because it pushes their videos further up the YouTube search results. 21D22. And that helps them out massively. So if you want to support the content creators that you love, but you don't necessarily want to give them money, that's fine. But then give them a like and do it on every single video and bit of content they create. So do it for me, obviously, because I'm awesome, but do it on other ones as well. Because if you're not financially helping a creator, then at least you can help them by, getting their results boosted a little bit in the search results, because that's indirectly financially helping them. And also like and subscribe. Subscribe and hit the notification bell. D21, which will be nowhere near D22, obviously. Oh no, it's yep, nowhere near it. Oh no, it's next to it. I'll let them off. This boy has some baggy cargo pant action going on. Yeah, so when we get round to painting all these, we'll do a much better job than it says in the magazine. The reason I gave up was I realised that, like I said at the start, I'm just parroting what the magazine was showing you anyway, and you could easily get that by just reading the magazine. A lot faster than I would show you in my video series. But it wasn't gonna be such a brilliant paint job at the end anyway. Like, for example, all the trousers on these guys were just painted blue. Yeah, on the box art they're all orange, and on the models they show in the magazine they're all different shades and oranges. But you can paint them whatever colour you want. So, yeah, just paint them all blue. Okay. So I suddenly realised there's no point. I'll get them all stripped down, the ones I've done so far. Start again. Once everything's built, we'll paint them properly. We'll give them the proper stabity, proper grown-up paint coat. Because these are Death Guard, they've got pointy horns and stuff, and it's constantly stabity on the end of your thumb. So one thing I don't like about Death Guard. Let's have a look. I remember browsing the help menu in Macromedia Authorware. Yeah, it was as helpful as a chocolate teapot. There's Mayhem. Talking of servers, I'm having a nightmare problem with BT. You say they have lost my account. What your BT phone line or your BT something else? Broadband. I get my truck things through Fox, says Model Making Trucker. Thank you very much. Most manuals are written by text and not the end user in mind. Used to drive me mad. Oh yeah, I had to write many years ago. I worked in a call centre that was. I've said it before. It was a social housing call centre. Basically, all the care homes full of old people with their pull cords. And when they pull the cord, it comes through to us, and we deal with the query. It could be just they pulled it by accident. It could be an emergency or whatever. They could need the warden. It could be a million different things. But they changed their software when I was there, and I was part of the team. It was basically me and one other person who had to choose the new operating system off the shelf, obviously, and there was like 5 or 6 different operating systems available. Choose a completely new operating system, evaluate all of them, see which one was best, and then write the user guide because it was going to be customized a bit. And then when it was installed and set up in the new call center, train everybody. So I had to write the user manual for this software, and bearing in mind all the staff were middle age, most of them, and knew nothing about computers. I had to make it as user friendly as possible, and it was like, you know what? It's not hard. It's not hard explaining how to use software when you can just say, click this button here. Here's a picture. Now click this button. Not hard. When you get these like software and it's like you look in the thing and it's half the images just don't relate to what you're actually seeing in the software. It's like, wow, you could have just made the effort. George says, I'm good. City is still on lockdown, but things are calming down. Good. Carolina Roberto puts a picture of a cheeseburger, which is appreciated because I want a cheeseburger now. Team Inept says, G-Dog. Greetings, children. It's G-Dog. Welcome to the post-apocalyptia. Sniffles. Don't forget the one-to-one foot, says Chris. Yes. Model Making Trucker. Just got back to my bench and Connor has left me a lolly stick. Thanks, boy. Counting with Fox. I'm boosting forward a little bit. Dan Kramer's in. Hey, folks, I come in a little bit before I have to go to work. Hey, Dan. You're welcome. Even if you can be with us for a little bit, you're welcome. Athol's finished painting his Volvo F70 sleeping area, tartan covers. Good effort. It seems correct. George says stabity. Not actual knife stabity. It's just pointy Death Guard stabity. It's more dimply. Little dimples in your thumb and finger than actual stabity. Oh, Athel says the reference being they lost my broadband, then my total account details. Yet they still want payment. Blimey, right? I don't know how you do that. Mayhem says, you know that due to the account going missing, you can take that to Ofcom. Yes, if that kind of thing, you can go to the Ombudsman to Ofcom. Because that's a breach of so many different... I used to work in telecoms. It's a breach of so many different regulations. Just losing your account completely. It might expedite matters somewhat. Because if you've not got an account, it can't charge you. But then again, they could just turn your service off. Yeah. I wish there was a non-Facebook group page thing, he says, Retro Rabbit. So do I, but unfortunately, actually running a forum or a group is it's a full-time job. And also expensive. Forum software is not cheap. If you use your own servers, it's really not cheap. And it's also a daytime job to set up and run it. So don't really have the time to do that, unfortunately. But Facebook, even if you don't, you just set up a fake profile. Use your real name, and obviously so we know who you are. But all you have to do is set up a profile. You don't have to use it for anything. Don't put any personal information in there. Just basic profile with your name. And even if the only thing you look at is the Boom Hut or whatever group you need to follow, you don't have to send friend requests or accept any friend requests to anybody. You don't have to add anything or download anything. You don't even have to put the correct contact details in, as long as you just use the name that we know. You have to use a real name. You can't use a made-up name like, you couldn't be Retro Rabbit Studios. You'd have to be, Bob Smith or whatever. But and the thing is, as well, if you're doing like Retro Rabbit Studios, if you've got like this kind of thing, like I'm a business, or just you're an artist like us. I'm going to sneeze. Hang on, 1 second. I can feel it. Feel it? It's there. Yeah. Oh, wow, that made all the red bits go on my volume meter. Oh, it's been building up for a while, that has. Hey! Gesundheit. Yeah, it's also worth, considering you would have the advantage of setting up an artist page, a page to show your wares, which, again, it's Facebook. You might not agree with Facebook, but it's access to a large number of people, so it's better the devil you know sometimes. Yes, I'd love to have a non-Facebook group, but unfortunately, it's expensive and time-consuming, and Facebook does come with 20 bajillion people already attached to it. So there you go. I'm burned out. Something fierce, says Dan. Yeah, it comes and goes. Just go and do something else, buddy. Go and play some video games or something. Do something completely not related. There's Discord, says Chris at Gross Models. Nah, Discord's alright. I mean, but Discord's just like it's just a forum. It's just a chat room basically, which is fine. But like I've got my model making group page. You don't have that on Discord. Fox, did that cause you to now repaint the wall you just sprayed? No, it'll be a wet patch on the carpet now. Let's just go straight down the front of your glass cabinet. A sneeze is 1/8 of an orgasm, says David Sanderson. So he can drink water with a cartoon sound, and he also sneezes like Roger Rabbit. Please, Eddie. That was a rubbish Roger Rabbit. I can't remember what the Roger Rabbit sounds like. I remember that bit. I can't do it anymore. Please. He had a lateral lisp, I remember that. I may have done the setup for my page wrong. It means I can't share pictures to Festa's group, Chris's group, the Boom Hut. Yeah, I can't help you with that because I did set something up once and it never made any sense. You have to like a page as your group or your page to be able to post as your page or group. So like I'm model making guru page. I have to join, say, let's say I joined Festa's group. I'd have to join that as me, but also like it as my page, and that way I get a choice of it posting as my page or as me. If you haven't liked it with your page, if you join a group or a page as your personal profile, that's the only thing you can post for. I don't know. It's really confusing, and yeah. It also changes every 5 minutes, and the help files are useless. I'm thinking of picking up the BioShock collection for Xbox One, says Paul Tommaso. Yeah, I'd go for it if it's your kind of game. I played BioShock Infinite. It was alright. I'm not into the BioShocks, unfortunately. I got savaged by an over-the-top Games Workshop dude on a post. He really hated my Bloodthirster because it was a 3D print and only cost £12.50. I should have paid over £50 for it for some reason. Well, did you post it on a Games Workshop page? Because that's probably not a good call. Yeah, somebody from Games Workshop is always going to try and defend their intellectual property because it's their living, it's their income. But yeah, if it's on a non-Games Workshop group or page, then you should just shut up. Oops. Nippity snip. Super match game. Do I need to drill a barrel out on this? Oh no, it's a hitty stick, not a shooty stick. Yeah, if it's actually a Games Workshop employee, then yeah, he's gonna call out 3D prints and stuff. But if he does it on a non-Games Workshop page, yeah, he can't be seen to condone it, obviously. Yeah. Tiny nub. It was posted on a non-Games Workshop group. Yeah, well, yeah. This is where the 3D printing is a grey area because, like, you know, for example, you know, as somebody who owns a group or a page, it's quite tricky because whereas I personally do not agree with intellectual property theft, which is, you know, 3D printable models of things that are actually things you can buy from a manufacturer. So you're basically avoiding paying the manufacturer, like a, you know, Games Workshop figure. You're avoiding paying Games Workshop for their product. But then if everybody did that, Games Workshop would go out of business. And there's also, as an artist myself, as a creative type, I understand the intellectual copyright aspect of it, the creative license and stuff. So personally, I wouldn't agree with it. But as somebody running a group, it's a more difficult proposition. You know, do I stop people posting that stuff? Do I stop people posting about their Daban Gumpler kit that's a complete intellectual property theft of Bandai's intellectual property? Because let's be honest, the knockoff Gumpler kits are just pure thefts. Again, I disagree with those. They're just theft straight out. They're taking a licensed IP and not paying Bandai anything. Just knockoffs. Thievery. Again, in my personal opinion. But as a group owner, I can't just go off my personal opinion. I mean, I could do. There's nothing stopping me saying, this is my opinion, and therefore everyone in the boom hut must adhere with that. But, yeah, it's not quite how it works. So I don't know. It's quite tricky sometimes. I mean, maybe it's a non-Games Workshop group, but that's their policy. They don't like discussions of that kind of thing, maybe. And that's just part of the culture of that group. Could be. Where are we? Bonk stick, says Retro. Yes, it's not a shooty stick. It's not a bam stick, it's a bonk stick. Although that could be something completely different. Athol says, June 15th, the Games Workshop store in Aberdeen opens for business, so guess who will not be there as I'm now modelling Trucker Maker. Don't think he works for Games Workshop. He really hates 3D prints. Oh, okay. In that case, it's his opinion, isn't it? I mean, I agree. I actually agree with his point that it's illegal, it's theft, and it's just not cricket. But at the same time, That's my opinion, and it means that I'm not going to necessarily support that kind of, I'm not going to go out of my way to buy an STL file for something that's an existing in production model, not just Games Workshop, anybody, because that's against my moral judgment. That's something I would not. But then again, I'm not going to, sit there and proselytize. I can never pronounce that word. I'm not going to sit there and lambast other people for doing that. I might sit there and I might say, well, I don't agree with that personally, but I'm not going to say to someone, you must not do. I'm not. No, I don't know the situation, but I'd never encourage it. But yeah, I'm not a keyboard warrior. But again, I have the other angle to me is, of course, I can't always just be honest in my opinions, because I've got to consider I'm also the group owner as well as a member, so it's a bit tricky. Personally, I would agree with him, but I'd say don't be a dick. He could have just said, I don't agree with that. I think it's not right that you've not bought the real thing, and left it at that. I don't know. It's a minefield. It's all good as long as you don't profit from it, says Scale Model Muse. They've got no worry of going out of business. No, I know. It's the point. It's like saying, Bandai aren't going to go out of business. But it's the point is, the reason people defend their copyrights so much is that if everybody wanted to make Gunpla, and people like, say, Daban and the other ones made bootleg kits of every Gunpla kit available, who would buy the Bandai one at twice the price? Bandai they'd have no reason to continue, because nobody's going to buy it. Because the problem with the bootlegs and things is that the reason they're cheaper, and this is any kind of model kit, the reason they're cheaper is you've got a model manufacturer who charges £50 for a kit, but they've got to cover the cost of the actual tool that was made, the mold. They've got, the mold for that kit might cost 300 grand. They've got all the research and development, the design, the sculpting, all the concepting, and everything else that went into the licensing. They might have had to pay licensing to someone to make that model. You want to make a model of a Jeep? Brilliant. You've got to pay Jeep some money to license their vehicle and their branding. Whereas the person who does like a knockoff kit that's just taken from multi original sprues, like Daban and people like that, TT Hongley, or people that make knockoffs of resin models because they buy a real one and then just copy it and make their own, anything like that, they're charging less because they haven't done any of the work. They're just stealing. I'm not going to shout at someone if they do that. I'm going to maybe make them feel that I'm disappointed. It's like, I'm a bit disappointed. But if it's something that's no longer in production, like I know that I'm being sent some Deathcore stuff. I'm being sent, I've got some 3D printed stuff from Beyond Hope. He sent me some, Space Marine heads and pauldrons and stuff, but they're not things that you can actually buy. They're not existing things that Games Workshop make. That I'm fine with. And even Games Workshop say, as long as you're not making profit from it, they don't really mind. You're not going to be able to go into an official Games Workshop tournament with 3D printed bits on your Space Marines, but they don't really mind if you get those bits, as long as the person making them isn't making a profit. If it's something they're not selling anyway, then, it's not a problem. But if it's something that exists as a product from another company, from the real company, like, you make a bootleg of a Gunpla, or you make a bootleg of a Forge World kit, and there are, the Forge World kit bootlegs and stuff out there, all kinds of things that are just buy this one because it's cheap, then cheaper than the real one, then that's the bad territory. Anyway, let's move on because that's boring and serious. Is picking up my personal profile. How do I join it as my page? I have no idea. They change it all the time. I think it's just to go to the follow button and there might be a like as page option, but sometimes there isn't. I couldn't join Chris's group as my page for ages. It's because Facebook's broken. If it isn't a bootleg kit. Artisan Guild designed it, and the seller is licensed to sell their prints. What we talking about? Oh, it says LD. I don't know who Artisan Guild are. Artisan Guild designed the model and swap the yeah. I mean, it may well be like you say. If it's a license thing, that's fine. It doesn't really matter. If they've got a license from Games Workshop, then that guy has no point at all. Oh my god, why are you doing this? It's licensed. The company has permission from Games Workshop, so shut up. So the guy, yeah, in that case, the guy was wrong. News reports illegal stuff if she sees it. Good. Ian Thompson's in. Welcome, Ian. George Gabriel says, I would print and sell if I had something like a Phenom L. Titan Forge, that is. Fox, is it true the guy who did a knockoff YouTube video showing how to recast using green stuff in a moulding agent that is blue in colours is spending time in a 4x4 cell? I don't know. I know not. This is the thing where it gets to recasting. And Games Workshop have said the same thing. Games Workshop don't have a problem with you taking one of their products and recasting it. You buy a Forge World model, you take a mold of it and you make your own. That's fine. Unless you sell it. If you make it for yourself, and this is my personal opinion, is the same. If you buy something, if I bought that and I wanted to make that was not a pot of glue. If imagine it wasn't, and I wanted to make a second one and I make a mold of it and cast it, it's fine. I'm just doing it for myself. It's not a problem at all. Who cares? But if I then set up an online shop and say I can sell you this for half the price because it's a recast, that makes me a thief. And also profiting from thievery, and that's when companies like model making company manufacturers and stuff, Forge World and Games Workshop and other companies get involved. And you have to remember, the worst hit ones. What am I doing now? I'm not finished it yet. What am I doing? The biggest impact is not actually on companies like Games Workshop or any companies like this. They're not the ones that have the big impact. The big impact is on the small companies, and especially with resin, because most resin manufacturers, aside from Forge World's different, but for most companies where you buy models in resin, they are small run and they are tiny companies, and they were often called garage kits because they literally are. A lot of them are just made in people's garages. It'll be some person who set up a little company and they spent 6 months designing something. The days before doing it on computer, 6 months designing a sculpt, then they make say 500 impressions of that sculpt, and then the mold stops working, so they've got 500, and that's the only 500 that will ever exist, and they sell them to make a living, and they'll be expensive because they're limited run, and that's the only thing they can do. They've got to make a profit on it. And then some Russian, or I think a lot of them are Russians, but there's other companies, but some like Russian, or some of them are Polish, I think. Some black guy will come along and buy one and then make a mold of it and make some crappy copies and sell it for a quarter of the price. But because that company is a little tiny garage company, that 500 run might have been the guy's income for a year. That might have been his only source of income for a year for his little tiny manufacturing company. And then some scummy bloke comes along and rips it off and sells it for a quarter of the price. Everybody now goes and buys the crappy quarter price one. Nobody buys the original at 4 times the price. And the guy goes out of business, and that's food off his table. So for the small companies, you really are literally taking food off someone's table. A little tiny, custom manufacturers and stuff. Anyway. I've deleted the page. I need to rethink this, so I'll be setting creative on it somehow, says Mayhem. Yeah, you'll figure it out. Retro Rabbit says, garage or basement like moi. The equipment for casting is dollars, and resin is over $100 a gallon. Yes, that's the reason that resin kits are so expensive, because, and I've said this before many times, but it's the small run. If you make a mold, if you're a big company like Forge World, you can afford to keep making repeat molds. You can make multiple master molds, and you can make those molds last for years, and you can regenerate them and do fresh ones, and that's fine. But if you're some person in their garage and you're literally, it's a labour of love, you're a proper craftsman, then, like Rabbit says, you could have invested thousands into making that run of 1,000. It might be that you get a run of 1,000 models out of your mold, and once those 1,000 are cast and done, that's it, end of. Only 1,000 of them in the world. Like, you look at like smaller companies, like maybe not. I don't know how small Industria Mechanica is, but some of the smaller ones, like the little resin busts that Paul likes to make and that Ted does occasionally, they might only make 1,000 of those, if that, might be a 500. But they might have, tens of thousands of pounds sunk into that model, and if somebody comes along and starts selling it at knockoff at half the price, nobody's going to buy it, and that company goes out of business, and that's somebody's, like I said, it's food on their table. And that's why recasts are just, I will, the one, that's one of the things I won't let people post up on in the Boom Hut is recasts, because they are just 100% theft, and they are taking from people who can't afford for that theft to happen, because it's little Bob Smith and little Jane Smith in a garage, or his garage, making small runs, and they're some of the most talented artists out there. They're not just some big faceless company churning crap out. They're some of the most talented sculptors and artists out there, and it's stealing from them. As a musician and an artist, I understand people taking my stuff and making money on it. No. Yes. Anyway, this is the 4th Poxwalker. It is 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's only 4:45. I know, we might get 5 done. But I went on a rant. Fox, are you on dude 5 out of 6? I'm on dude 4 out of 10. And I've got, well, I'm on dude 6 out of 10 because I made 2 already. 4 left. And I went on a rant. That slowed me down a bit. Maybe 100 casts. The thermal wear can be harsh depending on the resin, says Rabbit. Yeah, it depends on the resin. But maybe 1,000, 500 is a bit generous. Perhaps 1,000 is probably more impossible. I've not cast much since I got my 3D printer though. When I do a production run, then I'll cast. Yeah. Yeah, so for example, I know Beyond Hope sending me something, which is Warhammer. It's 3D printed, resin printed. I'm not going to tell you what it is because it's awesome and you'll like it when you see it. 24 and 23. But it's not something that either Forge World or Games Workshop actually make. So although technically it's their intellectual property, it's kind of ripped off a little bit, he's not selling it. It's just, I mean, he just found it online. He's just printing it out. It's not, no issue with Beyond Hope. But as far as I know, the STL was free anyway. And it's not something that Games Workshop actually make. So there's no issue with that. So I can't wait. I think it's downstairs in the box. But yeah, like I said at the start, if you've sent me stuff, it's in quarantine downstairs for a few days. So don't panic. You've not seen me do anything with it. D24. That is D24. D24 is going to be this one, isn't it? Yes, there we go. Tiny head bonds. More little dangly bits that are going to snap off at the moment's notice. Yes. Oh, or the head might just ping off across the carpet. Hang on. Right, where's that gone? Right. Son of Ted. I've put my other glasses on. Right. We're going to look on the floor. It'd be really hilarious if I found a World War II British soldier's arm right now. First thing you do is stand up. Like it's not in your trousers. No. Right. Here we go. How to search for things you've dropped on the floor in one easy lesson. Let me just get out my important tool. First thing you need to do is put your phone on airplane mode because Chris will just make a mess of things. You torch on your phone and instantly there it is. There. How you do it, dudes? Well, 2 things. First of all, I can't recommend strongly enough that you get a microfiber noodle mat or rug. It's like a flumpy little rug that goes on the floor, but because it's all microfiber fat noodles, when something lands, it just goes, it doesn't bounce off. So that's right under my desk. It just lands on that. Get your torch on your phone, put it at a shallow angle so you've got ground there, torch that way, and it'll just cast a shadow and you'll spot it straight away. Oh, a different tool! Check your folds. Ew. Nat, are you taking Pyoing Carpet Monster feed times? And Model Making Mayhem says moist. Yeah. Anyway, yes. So yeah, get yourself a noodle. Go on Amazon. I've not got one in my Amazon store, but just go on Amazon and look up like microfiber noodle rug or mat. They're not expensive, and if you've got like me feet that get quite sore all the time, because my feet are very delicate and pathetic, they're really soft on your feet. So if you tend to sit at a desk all day and you've got like a hard floor surface, the little noodle rug will just make it nice and comfy for your feet. It really is. I'm really glad I bought it. I said I've not got one in my store, but go and have a look. Amazon's. Tiny little nub that I can't quite get the nippers in without taking. Well, I took a little bit of his head off, but never mind. It's just a horn. I can work with that. Everything that revolves and misses the desk usually results in a 25-minute search with a flashlight, says Rabbit. Yeah, if you've got just like a regular flat carpet or carpet tiles, or even worse, a wooden parquet or wooden floor, it's going to ping off into a dark void dimension. You really do want something that's flumpy and squidgy that it'll land on and not bounce. So I really can't suggest strongly enough microfiber noodle mat or rug. I've got a couple of them. They only cost me like about a tenner. I've got one under this desk and one in front of where I sit and play on the Xbox, and it's purely because I have a lot of trouble with my feet, and they can get quite sore and uncomfortable and achy sometimes. It comes of 20 years of wearing Converse sneakers, and so my feet have got no tolerance to like being on hard surfaces anymore, because Converse sneakers don't give you any support. It's going to mess my feet up. So if I'm sat here at my desk and I've just got, the floor in this room is just carpet tiles, it's not got any thickness to it at all. So if I just sit here a few hours, my feet will be in agony by the end of it. I got these little noodle rugs. Mama Fox got one for the bathroom. It's like, oh, that's so nice on my feet. Oh, it's so soft and flumpy. Oh. So I got two of them, and now I can sit and play on the Xbox for hours, or sit here at the bench for hours and not worry about my feet. It's nice, really nice. But the unexpected advantage is they also stop little parts pinging around. If you drop something, it will just stay where it lands, and you can easily find it. Also, it's very dark colour, which means it's easier for finding non-light coloured things. Right. Rubber. Oh, that makes me think of something else. I like to wear a shop apron when building, then parts tend to drop into it. I intend to add snap points to the edge of the apron under the table so there's a net. That's a jeweler's trick. Yes, I keep meaning to. I've got somebody did send me a Xeon apron, which I actually use. I don't use it on a live stream, but I do use that. It's not long enough, unfortunately, to snap it underneath the desk, but yes, I have considered doing that myself, actually. Just get some like snap studs, press studs, and glue them to the bottom of the bench, and stick them onto the apron, and you can just pop them in place and make a little capture area. The difficulty I would have is I'd get up and walk off and forget and pull off the bench with me. Yeah, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I have walked away from the bench and forgotten that I've got a lavalier microphone attached to me, which is also attached to the bench, and then the camera. It's like ping. Oh, forgot that. I've gone through about 4 lavalier mics doing that. It's just a right pain in the bum because I forget. Fox, TK has got big steaks on the barbecue. Oh, that sounds rather fantastic. One other trick you can do, if you do lose a part on the floor and you can't find it, get your Hoover. Assuming it's not a microscopically tiny part, get your Hoover and put a piece of like very fine mesh material, like ladies' stocking or something or whatever, pair of tights. Put that over the end of the nozzle, with an elastic band, and then just run it over the floor, and anything that goes up, it'll get sucked up, but it'll get trapped by the nylon or the tights. And that's how you can also find little tiny parts. But beware, if you are not normally the person in the house that does the hoovering, you may actually by default have suddenly volunteered to do all the rest of the hoovering. So just keep that in mind. You might get trapped into doing all the rest of the hoovering. Yeah. What are you doing with the hoover? I've got to find a part. Well, while you've got it out... Oh, yeah, there is that consequence. Well, it was nice to join. I must be going now. So, George, thank you very much, George, for coming in. Take care, buddy. Stay safe. I'll chat to you later anyway in the chats and that. Take care, buddy. You stay safe. I'm keeping a close eye on your Cesabe and your pink tank and your little Gene Stealer cult car. All being looked after nicely. I like fresh buns, says Chris at Gross Models. I love fresh buns. Buns. Athol decided that belly tonight is double cheeseburgers in fresh buns with a slice of Spanish onions and relish. That's where the buns come from. There we go. Dan Kramer, gotta go. Time to head out for work. Gotta talk to people who can't remember their passwords, and it's my fault. Welcome to tech support. Yes, I've done that. Lewis says, thanks, Fox. Nat's just said that's a Hoover trick is a good idea. That's my decent view gone now. Why are you vacuuming at 3 AM? Says Retro. Oh, I dropped something. Yeah. Why are you vacuuming at 3 AM? Either you've dropped something or you're on speed. One of the two. Only going to be one of those two. This one's covered in nubs. Nubs. There is one advantage of these poxwalkers and all these Death Guard ones is that a lot of the nubs are on kind of fleshy, tentacly bits. And the flesh itself is kind of covered in pustules and open gaping wounds and festering things. And so the advantage is that when you're tidying up the nubs, you don't have to be super, super careful and delicate. If you miss a little bit and take a gouge out of an arm, or if you make a little bit of a dig at something, that's fine. Just sand it so it's not got a sharp edge, and it just looks like another part of the rancid, festering, wounded flesh. You get away with anything. So these are quite quick to clean up and prepare. Prep on these is quite fast, as you've obviously seen by me doing loads of them. Trying to think of things to talk about. What else has been going on? Not massive amounts have been going on, obviously. Let's do what we did like we did that stream the other day when we run out of things to talk about. Let's do the AMA idea. Let's do an AMA. We've got an hour to go. Let's do an AMA. So literally, if you're watching this, get in chat. If you're not in chat already, why? Get in chat and ask me any question. Any question you want. And it doesn't have to be about model making. It can be anything. I'll answer most things other than obviously, politics and religion and stuff like that. Or giving out personal information and stuff. But ask me anything. It could be about anything you want. It doesn't have to be about models. Anything you want. Any question. And I will try and answer as many as possible. I'll try and do it quickly so I can get through many of them. It could be anything you want. Any subject whatsoever. It might be something I know nothing about, in which case I'll probably give my opinion anyway, because I don't care. I'm in charge here, so I'm always right. It's my show. AMA to Amatar. Is it AMA or AMA? I don't know how you pronounce it. Yeah, Amatar, but yeah, AMA time. I just got that. Do. That's it. You're right. Shh. Ask me anything. How much do carrots sell for? Currently, about gold. A single gold. A single gold. How are we doing? Oh, by the way, how's the video and audio, by the way? Are we looking okay? Is it all nice and shiny, or is it choppy or anything? I thought I saw a bit of framiness then, but I may be wrong. AMA, greatest theme tune ever. TV theme tune. Ooh, TV theme tune is going to be... This is going to be a left field one. You're not going to expect this. It's going to be The West Wing. It's short. It's sweet. It's composed by W.G. Snuffy Walden, who has the best name in the world. And it's just perfect. It's the perfect epitome of what its subject matter is. So the theme from The West Wing. Been going 2 hours. Yep, audio, video, okay. What was the worst ending to a TV series? Asked the Raging Modeler. It was... Let's have a think. Worst ending. I'm not going to say Battlestar Galactica, BSG, because it wasn't that bad. I would have said the Clone Wars, but they've rectified it with Season 7. I think the worst ending ever, this is... I think a few of you will know this straight away. The worst sort of ending ever, Quantum Leap. Because they just ran out of... They were cancelled and they didn't have time to do anything. They just that final episode. And the reason it was worst is because of the very last thing you saw, where it just says, Dr. Samuel Beckett never returned home. I was like 19. I've been watching this series like religiously for like several years. Every Wednesday, every week I go and watch it, and I was almost in tears. I'm like, why did I choose Khajiit in Skyrim? Masks Model Making Mayhem. Because, dude, it's a cat dude. Khajiit always chooses the best option for the job. I like playing sneaky anyway. And also, I used to draw like anthropomorphic cartoons and webcomics, so of course I'm going to go for the cat dude. In the absence of a dog dude, I'm going to take the cat dude. But also, I can do the accent. I can do the voice really well. I can't do a Nord, but I can do a cat. I can do a Khajiit. This is when productivity drops now, isn't it? Hi Fox. Okay then. Do you think it's a good idea to try and buy stuff from P Bandai? It's not a question of whether it's a good idea. It's if you want that thing, you have to buy it from P Bandai because it's the limited edition stuff. It's not good or bad. It's just Bandai. It's just limited edition stuff. With any Gunpla, I always say the best way to choose what Gunpla you want to buy is, do you think it's cool? Yeah, then buy it. They're just like limited edition and P Bandai only. In the old days, it used to be you could only buy them from their website and their like in-store areas in Japan. But they've widened that now. You can get them in the US and other places. So they're not quite as elite. But they used to be literally you had to go to a number of stores in Japan or use the P Bandai website. But that's changed now. Let's have a look. Hey mate, ask me anything. Model making trucker, what's the stopping distance in a car with good fan conditions? Just enough. I don't know. Depends. Depends what year the highway code book you're reading. If it's 1978, it's like 432 miles because the cars are rubbish. If it's today, I don't know, 30 feet. I passed my test 25 years ago. Gee, I don't know. Fox, are you going to do any more Elite Dangerous streams? Says David Sanderson. I may do. I've still got the thing set up to do it. I might do, but I'm doing the Skyrim Saturdays now. But I might do. I kind of became painfully aware that they weren't that interesting because although it was fun, there's not really a lot goes on. I might do more though. If people want me to do more Elite Dangerous, I'll do Elite Dangerous. I don't want to get too heavy into the gaming content though, because although it's nice, free, and simple content, it's not really what I do. Worst ending ever was Firefly because it ended. Controversial opinion. I wasn't that much into Firefly. It was alright. Wasn't that much into it. But Quantum Leap, yeah. I was betrayed. Fox, Top Cat and Officer Dibble. What's that, a question or an answer? Paul, it's massive. You can find P Bandai stuff for a good price, then yes, grab it. Otherwise, don't spend the outrageous prices. Yeah, it's not so much should you buy it. It's do you want that thing, and if so, are you prepared to pay for it? Bandai can charge what they want for whatever they want, basically, and they just say this is the exclusive stuff. It's not as exclusive. The reason In the old days, it really was a case of to find something outside Japan, it'd be expensive because it was hard to get. Nowadays, it's not that hard to come by, so it doesn't really command such a high price like it used to anymore. But it shouldn't really command that. It's just regular stuff, but hard to get. A lot of them are just colour swaps anyway. AMA, favourite and least favourite movie themes. Favourite movie themes. I assume by theme, do you mean like the soundtrack, or just the theme tune? I'll adapt it and say best soundtracks. Favourite movie soundtrack would be The Wrath of Khan. James Horner, The Wrath of Khan. Can't beat it. It's been in my head for the last 2 weeks. I've been doing the washing up every day with like Battle in the Mutara Nebula and Surprise Attack and stuff in my head. It's weird. That is an outstanding soundtrack. Worst movie soundtrack? I don't know, because I don't tend to listen to worse ones. I would say the worst soundtrack, not movie. Well, technically you could say it's a movie because it was a movie and a TV series. The worst soundtrack I've got that I own, that I'm aware of, is the soundtrack to the original series of Das Boot. That's terrible. Apart from the theme tune, which is brilliant, after that it's absolute nonsense. David Sanderson has got to go and cook dinner. Take care, David. Thanks for coming in. Yeah, so best soundtrack, Wrath of Khan. Closely followed by Jurassic Park. Worst soundtrack, Das Boot. The original TV series, which was also done as a movie, released as a movie as well. More questions. I like doing these AMA questions. Ask me anything questions. They're great fun. More questions. Ask me anything you want. Anything about anything. Apart from religion and politics. They will go unanswered. And you guys in chat as well, if you know, when somebody asks me a question, you guys can answer it as well. Well, it's fun if you guys answer it as well. More questions. More. 5 guys. 5 so far, and we've got 50 minutes to go. AMA, dad device or no dad device? Absolutely, every time a dad device, otherwise dad shouts. Every time somebody uses something without a dad device, a kitten loses its wings. Athol says, yes, guys and gals, time to put the burner on and grill my cheeseburgers so I can have full belly tonight. Ta-ta. Oh, take care, Athol. Thanks for coming in. Best soundtrack has got to be the 82 Conan the Barbarian, says Darren 2159. Never watched it. Never seen it. I've never seen that movie. Came here in that thing. Braver than I thought. Oh, I'm going to stop doing that. We're going to play a very fun... I can't do it today. I can't do his voice today. My throat's a bit hoarse. We're going to play a very fun game. It's called Who is Your Daddy and What Does He Do? D13 and D12. D13. Get to the D12. Come on, purchase that device anywhere. Retro Rabbit says, nope, you can't buy them anywhere, but you can, if you ask Dad really nicely, as in Dad in the chat, Dad, he might deign to make one for you. If you send him treats, he'll make more than one, maybe. D13, D12. Dad's lovely. He doesn't ask for money. I think Dad should actually start selling them, but as artisanal anti-spillage devices. Just use the word artisanal and the Americans will lap it up. D13, D12. 13. D13 and D12. Where are you? There you are. I have acquired you. I've got a barrel to drill out on this one. This may slow down a bit now. I've got to drill some barrels out. Drilling me barrels. And D12. D12. Very hard, very easy to slip into my rubbish Arnie accent and very hard to get out of it sometimes. I find myself just like slipping into it and just keep going. I know it doesn't sound anything like Arnie at all, but I'm not an impression. I'm not a voice scientist. Model making memes says phased plasma rifle in the 40 watt range. AMA, favourite genre, either TV or movies, Fox? I'm going to... It's kind of an answer. It's not really a genre, but it is. And I'm going to say ensemble cast. So it's not going to be like sci-fi or adventure. I'm saying anything with an ensemble cast. So it can be sci-fi, or it can be a cop drama, or it could be, real life type thing. It could be anything. But if it's got a compelling ensemble cast, like Deep Space Nine, Firefly, Farscape, Bosch, all this kind. It doesn't really matter what it is. I'm not hooked on a specific genre, but I would prefer to watch things like. My personal preference for proper traditional genres would be sci-fi. It would be like crime stuff, but not like bloody Midsummer Murders, murder mystery rubbish. I mean, like proper, modern stuff like Bosch. I do like Bosch. There was also. Hang on, I'm just going to move my dog tags because they're making loads of noise. Hang on. There it is. My dog tags around the back. There was a series called. What was it called? Goliath. That was quite good. That was a sort of legal type thing. Legal crime type thing. Things like that. Crime stuff. Science. Anything to do with science. Sciencey stuff. Sci-fi stuff. Yeah. But yeah. I always appreciate an ensemble cast rather than just like one or two actors. D12, roll for initiative, roll for flop sweat. The you came in that thing impressed was more Mario from G&B than Arnie from Glove and Boots. This is the worst. I can't do Mario from Glove and Boots. I think Glove and Boots have actually just died, It's really sad. I mean, they came back angling themselves at kids' videos, and I think the community was like, what the hell are you doing? Can you just stop now because this is rubbish? And they just seem to have stopped now. They just seem to just... Unfortunately, they came in and started branding themselves as suitable for children, and then YouTube brought in all the, suitable for children doesn't make any money. And I think they've kind of shafted themselves by doing that. They wanted to make themselves more profitable, which is fine. They wanted to make a living off it. But they shot themselves in the foot by making themselves kid-friendly just before the kid-friendly apocalypse. I think they've died now. It's a shame because Glove and Boots are just the best. It fits perfect with Warhammer modelling. Model making trucker. Favourite model you ever made is the 1/24th scale. 1/24th scale MPC Eagle Transporter. I heard a noise. Stop. 1/24th scale Eagle Transporter from MPC. Absolute beautiful, beautiful kit. Brilliant fun. I'd make that again if I wanted to, but I don't want to make it again. But I wish I wanted to make it again. This is the worst ever, says Mayhem. The recent stuff was amusing, but the no comments on kids suitable video stuff hit almost immediately. Yeah. Retro Rabbit. Player, I want to pet the dog. Dungeon Master. Roll for initiative. Player, rolls a 1. Dungeon Master, you punch the dog. I love kind of role-playing kind of humour sometimes. What's the one about the gazebo? Where he says the player's like, the DM says he comes across a gazebo, and the player actually has no idea what a gazebo is. He thinks it's an enemy. So he's like saying, I want to, what's the stats on the gazebo? And the DM's like, it's a gazebo. So, I want to roll for initiative. I want to attack it. He's like, it's a gazebo. So basically the DM rolls with it and just turns it into an enemy. I love that. All I ever got was stickers from Foxy. I've still got... by the way, if anybody was owed stickers from like last summer onwards, I still have a big long list of stickers to send out to people. For a long time it was I was skint and I couldn't afford to post everything out. And now, of course, I just can't go to the post office. So, they will go out one day. When there's a vaccine and I can leave the house and actually be in contact with the rest of the human species. Eric and the Dread Gazebo, that's it. Come on, more questions, more questions. Is this now the 6th Pogwalker, or is it still the 5th as I had to reboot? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. This will be the 6th Pogwalker. So there's basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. With this one, and then there'll be 2 more, and then it'll be done. I don't think I'll get them all done. Fester's in. Hey, Colin. Hey, buddy. Mr. Guru. Don't be so formal, Colin. You can call me much less formal names than that. Insult me if you want. You're legally allowed to insult me in the chat. Because you're a moderator. You can take the mickey out of me no end if you want. Raging model. DM, roll to push. Nat 1. You gently caress the orc. He feels uncomfortable. Model Mayhem. Dungeon Master. The dog is now insulted. Rolls a d12. Dungeon Master. Natural 12. The dog transforms into a mutant werehound. Player. Okay, rolls a 1. Dungeon Master. The werehound eats your arm. Yeah, you were eaten by a Gru. Got on camera, dear. Hi, Twinkle Toes, Snooky Lumps, Foxy Pops. That's a lot less formal, but in completely the weirdest wrong way. Because now I'm a little bit... That's just not right. I go for the insults. I much prefer the insults, Cole. Just stick to insults. I feel better about it. Right. I've got to drill this barrel, but it is microscopically tiny. Oh, I don't know about this. It's a tiny, tiny barrel on a tiny, tiny stick on a piece that's got like... I don't even know if I can drill this barrel out. More questions? If you weren't here 20 minutes ago, we're doing an AMA. Ask me anything. Where's your baseball cap? Not that question. It's... and it's not a baseball cap. You mean my 1944 US Air Force pilot cap? Thank you very much. All the same. Okay. Ian says, uncomfortable much? Yes, very, very uncomfortable. Dungeon Master. You come across a strange door. Player. I roll to seduce the door. Dungeon Master. Wait, what? Player. Rolls a 20. Dungeon Master. You seduce the door and have a long, happy life with many little cabinets. I've never played Dungeons and Dragons, but I like the humour that comes out of it sometimes. I enjoyed when I've gone off their stuff like lately, but going back a couple of years, I think a couple of 3 years, the guys at Giant Bomb did a couple of like shows where they just played. That's gonna be too big. Need a smaller drill bit. Where they played a tabletop game, like a D&D game. Can't remember which one it was now, but. Of course, most of them hadn't played before, so it was Matt Rory was leading the game as the DM. And most of them hadn't played a game like that before, so they were really getting into it. Like, so Vinny was playing the barbarian type, so basically, I don't know how you get these... Somebody tell me again how you get these things open. I don't understand. I don't understand how these work. They're supposed to slide, but they don't slide. I don't... How does this work? I don't get it. Somebody tell me how these things open. I never know. I end up just breaking them open. What's happening here? Does it go that way? Oh, there we go. It worked for once. Doesn't normally work. Right, what's my tiniest one? I want. Oh, not that one. Hang on, don't tip it up. Yeah, so like Vinny was playing the barbarian. They stood in front of some like statue. So he said, "Can I just pull the arm off the statue and use that as a weapon?" And he's like, Matt Rowe's like, I guess so. Roll for initiative. Roll, see if you do it. And he did. So he's wandering around this map now, beating goblins insensible with the arm of a statue. Right, I need to put that back in there. So yeah, that was quite funny. But then they only did a couple of episodes and they stopped. So, oh well. Team Inept says the barbarian. Look at the muscularity. I can't love the bardic broadcasts. I can't go that. My voice won't go that deep for some reason. Although, you know, proper professionals know it's not all about the barbarian. The dwarf is the proper one. That's going to be far too big. I'm going to have to get the rubbish pin vise, I'm afraid. The Citadel pin vise is no use to me at this point. I need to use the one that takes all the skin off my hand. Ugh. Yeah, don't like that one. Don't like it. I don't like it. No, sir, I don't like it. Right, missing the questions. Did the US Air Force exist in 44, or was it still called the US Air Corps? I don't know. Paul Di Tommaso, AMA, Vehicle Voltron or Lion Voltron? I have no idea what Voltron is. Well, I know what it is, I've just never seen it. I don't know. I have no preferences, I've never watched anything with Voltron in it. Seducing Doors sounds like something you do in Mass Effect. Team Inept, I throw a scimitar at the goblin. Chris, you miss and hit Roscoe. What are we talking about? Roscoe, what? Move the peg hook thing out of the way. I don't even know how I got that open in the end. It just did. I'm just going to assume there was some kind of magic involved. AMA, how popular is Games Workshop in the UK? Does the average person know much about it? Well, it's an English company. It's a British company. I think though it might be more popular in the US in terms of public consciousness, because over here it's kind of just seen as it's got a hangover from a children's thing, or sad people that collect, like they probably see it in the same vein as Train Spotters over here. It's popular, don't get me wrong. That's just too small for that even. God damn it. Drill bit is actually too small for both my pin vices. So yeah, I don't know. I think it might be more commercially popular outside of the UK. But it is a UK company, so. Right, well that's kind of knackered that, because I can't drill this barrel out. I don't have a drill bit that's small enough that I can actually put in a pin vise. Which is rubbish. All this standing around is rubbish. Is that going to be too big now though? I can't believe I figured out how to use this. Yay! I figured it out how to open it. I'm always just like ripping them apart and all the bits fall out and then it's horrible. Then the sadness. May still also be a bit too small, or maybe not. Aha! We might have some success. Time for a pasta break, says Muse. It's always the time. AMA, says Lewis. Whose tube do you prefer, mine or Nat's? Yeah, some questions I'm not going to answer, dude. I'm not going to choose my favourite child. Right. Pause for a second while I do this, drill this barrel out. I know my hand's in the way, I apologise. It's so small, you guys have got to lose out, I'm afraid. And that's not in the middle, but it'll have to do. Can't believe GW put a barrel on a weapon that's actually smaller than all their pin vice bits. That seems incorrect somehow. See, now that's a bit small, that hole, but it will have to suffice. Right, there we go. Bit small. Maybe a slightly bigger drill bit. Now I've got that one at the middle. AMA, what was your favourite or best ending on any TV show you watched, Fox? Ooh, there's one. I'm gonna say, Clone Wars Series 7. It was awesome. It wrapped it up nicely and got round all the hoo-ha of all the stuff that they forgot to do before then. And it was a bit of a tearjerker. If you haven't watched it, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but yeah. Series 7. The end of Series 7 of Clone Wars. Ah, you chicken. Yes. Right, more questions. More. Going in with a wider drill bit this time. Excellent. Much better. Time to kick ass and drill holes. I'm all out of bubblegum. Doesn't really work when you quote it like that. Fox, if you read out my player DM messages, read one after the other for it to work, says Mordraka. That'll mean I don't need work, though. Player Bard Cleric. Hey, if I play a song badly enough on my flute, can I deal psychic damage? Mordraka. No. Why? Player. I wanted to weaponize hot cross buns. More than there's DM. Screw it, we're doing it. Fox, beverage of choice, says Model Making Mayhem. Alcoholic or not? Coffee. Absolutely coffee. It's the food of the gods. If you had no food at all and just coffee, you'd still live to be an old man or old woman. You'd live forever. You wouldn't really. Don't obviously love off just coffee. I'd say, okay. Favourite alcoholic beverage. Let's break this down then. A bit extra more information than you had asked for. Favourite alcoholic beverage would be Dunham Breweries. Oh god, Dunham Milk Stout. Beautiful beer. Best beer in the world. Only available from a brewery local to me. Dunham Breweries, Dunham Milk Stout. Have I got any more weapons to drill out before I put my drill bit away? He's got a big wonky stick and he's got a hammer. No, there we go. Good. Favourite non-alcoholic beverage, but hot beverage. Favourite hot drink will be coffee. What else we got? Favourite non-alcoholic cold beverage, I would have to say, is Dr. Pepper. I do like me some Dr. Pepper. Are there other kinds of beverages that I'm missing out on? Well, favourite carbonated beverage, Dr. Pepper. Favourite non-carbonated beverage? Don't know. I drink a lot of water. I do like water. Water's just water, I know, but I like it. I've got to clean his body. This might be the last guy we do now, because this one's going a bit slow. AMA, do you use a letter opener for letter post or just tear it open with your fingers, says Retro Rabbit. What is this, 1937? I don't get paper mail anymore. When I do, it's just a... Do I get any paper mail anymore? No, we don't use letter openers. We're British, but we're not upper class. I don't really get mail anymore, apart from the occasional... Well, I don't even get bank statements anymore, because that's all online. I get the occasional, like, you know, insurance, car insurance certificate once a year and things like that. Most of the time it's just junk. Just discovered carbonated mango juice. Ooh, yeah. Now, I would say mango juice would be a nice non-carbonated beverage. Unfortunately, for some reason over the last year or so, I've developed really sensitive teeth, and I can no longer basically eat fruit or drink fruit juice or anything really sugary because it kills me. I just get in agony. So I can't even have sugar. I used to have, like, my coffee was always milk and 2 sugars. I can't do that anymore. Now it's just milk. I've got used to it now, but I really miss having sugar in my coffee. But it's like, you know, I got into eating apples and bananas as lunchtime snacks. And then I suddenly had to stop because I can't eat them. Even if I brush my teeth straight away, the sugar acidifies in your mouth and just hurts my teeth. So sadness, I can't even do fruit and stuff anymore. AMA, what have I just ordered for my noms? Asks Chris. I'm gonna say KFC. If you've ordered it, it's gonna be McDonald's or KFC. Or maybe pizza. I think KFC. Cake, no. Pizza, no. Pie, no. Pie, no. Although I now want pizza cake, he says. And burger, says Chris. Everybody else is answering now. I think it's KFC or McD's, I think. Or it's some poncy local southern thing that other northerners wouldn't know anything about because we eat proper food. Like, you know, I don't know, some kind of kale and lychee nonsense that southerners would eat. Pizza cake equals Chicago deep dish equals pizza flavor casserole. Hey, here's a suggestion for you. If you're in the UK, I know it's heresy to talk about frozen pizzas like you just bang them in the oven for 20 minutes. Worst ones you can get, Chicago town pizzas. They're absolute garbage. Flavourless cardboard garbage. Best ones you can get, stay with me. Go to your local Spar shop. Well, there's 2 options. 1, go to Aldi. Or 2, go to your local Spar shop. Aldi have these kind of sourdough-based pizzas that... Spar shop have these sourdough-based pizzas. They're a bit basic, but they're quite nice. But by far the best at Aldi, they have sourdough pizzas, which are kind of ovoid shape, not pizza-shaped. And they're really nice. And you bang them in the oven for 8 minutes and they come out like flumpy and squidgy and they're great. Yeah, Chicago Town pizza's absolute garbage. Don't even bother. More Fox ordered a load of pizzas and once I'm like, oh god, you've ordered Chicago Town and they're absolutely awful and we can't eat them. I threw them out. I refuse to eat them. Hey, Bay, why are you so very wrong about so many things? I'm not. Because this is my show where I'm always correct. And I'm a northerner, which makes me more correct. So there you go. The next sentence is a lie. This sentence is not a lie. No. Sit on that and chew on that. How do you like them apples, huh? Huh? The driver is on the... Did we find out what it was? No KFC, no burger. Curry? Could it be some kind of curry nonsense? That'd be good. Is it a big box full of durian burgers? Something? I don't know. Chicago Town pizza, they ain't nice. I like either the Hawaiian pizza from Lidl's and or certain Iceland pizza. Oh yeah, Iceland do some good pizzas. Yeah, Chicago Town, it's just horrible. You just put them in the oven, you bring them out, and they're like that big, and they've just got garbage meat on them, and they're just hard and crunchy and horrible. Yeah, don't buy Chicago Town pizzas. Team Inept, AMA, is it difficult being a northerner from the crap side of the Pennines? No, because I'm not. Because I'm on, see, to me, the Pennines, you've got north and south. North of the Pennines, and here is good. South of the Pennines, nah. Southerners. There is no east and west, just north and south. Because you can't have a bad side of the Pennines when that side of the Pennines is also north. By default, it's a good side of the Pennines. The bad side of the Pennines is down south. Down south. Only north and south. It's from a local chipper. I've ordered a barbecue dog. I think it's a hot dog, but we'll report soon. Oh, yeah, that sounds good. Picture in the beam hut, please. AMA, have you read any of the SPC, Special Containment Protocol short stories? How bizarre is that? How bizarre is that? You mean the SCP, Secure, Contain and Protect? Yes, I watched the Down the Rabbit Hole video. You know, Frederick Knudsen. I watched his Down the Rabbit Hole. I didn't know what SCP was. How bizarre. I'll tell you why it's bizarre in a minute. And I found it fascinating. There's the one with the giant sort of baby type thing with a weird head. And I've read a few of them. I keep meaning to go and have a proper read of them, but I've not got around to it. But yes, I know what SCP is. And I keep meaning to go and read it. But bizarrely, how very bizarre that just about 2 days ago, I put a comment on, I shall not name the website, but it's a website that purports to, it's like a blog type site, and it's supposed to be all like weird things and conspiracy theories and weird paranormal nonsense, but it often has a bit of a skeptical angle to it, which is what I like. It's not just saying, oh my god, fairies are real and angels and shit. No. But they have a habit of, you know, at least 2 or 3 times a week from one of their authors, you'll be like, here's some discussions about such and such a phenomena. Okay, let's go and read about this. And they're all just, a Reddit user wrote this, and another Reddit user wrote this, and another Reddit user. And I'm like, I don't care about people writing ghost stories and campfire stories on Reddit. So anyway, I put some feedback in one of their articles, and surprisingly, they just deleted the comment and didn't post it because they're cowards. I was basically saying, you used to be a good site, but now you're just churning out campfire stories that people write on Reddit. So can you stop doing that, please? But I mentioned the fact that these, you know, you just do, these are all, I said, these are all campfire stories or wannabe SCP authors. Can you just stop and do some good writing, please? So it just happened that a couple of days ago I mentioned that in an email. How very bizarre. Where did that come from? That's a very strange coincidence. Anyone noticed the mascot carried on the dragon capsule? It was a dinosaur. This is awesome. You've never been actually been to anywhere but Manchester, have you? Yes, I have. I've travelled to many places and outside the UK, believe it or not. AMA, how would you rate the Armour Painter basing set? I've never actually used any Armour Painter paints. I can't comment on the quality. I can't comment on the muscularity. Oh no, Mormons! I don't know. Never used them, so I can't say. I'm sure they're fine. I hear they're a bit... From what I've heard, they're a bit transparenty and a bit streaky, but I've never used them, so I can't say for sure. That's really weird that you mentioned SCP. Weird. There be dragons south of the Watford Gap. Arr. Yeah, if you... here's some YouTube tips. I put this in the chat the other day, but if you like YouTube channels that give you either just fascinating informational content or just have hosts with mesmerizing voices, or the ones that just capture your imagination, you just sit there and you suddenly find you've been sat there for 3 hours, I have some suggestions for you. Write these down. I would link them in chat, but I've not got my browser open to tell you what they are. But write these down. The first one is Down the Rabbit Hole, but the channel is just called Frederick Knudsen, Knudsen. He does a series. Just do a Google search or a YouTube search for Down the Rabbit Hole. I first found his channel because I stumbled upon his 45-minute long documentary about Sonny Chiu and Christian Chandler. That was fascinating. That's amazingly fascinating. So yeah, Frederick Knudsen, or Knudsen. Very interesting channel. I didn't use my dad device. Oh, sorry, Dad. See you, Carl. Thanks for coming in. Carl's getting his dinner. The second channel. So look up Down the Rabbit Hole. Write that down with writing. Second channel. And these are the kind of things, these are channels where you may have no interest at all in what they're actually making videos about, but it's worth just watching them because you'll just get mesmerized by the way they speak and you'll grow to like the content as a result. First one is a channel called Voices from the Past. Now, it sounds really boring. It's just a channel where they take contemporary historical accounts of something and they read them. So, for example, it might be Pliny the Younger writing about Pliny the Elder dying at Vesuvius when Vesuvius erupted. It's his journal entry, or it's his letter to somebody telling him how. Or it might be a Roman ambassador first describing his account of meeting Attila the Hun. Or it might be I don't know. It might be one of them was I think a Muslim cleric writing about his first meeting with Vikings, things like that. It's from people's own words in the ancient historical documents. But the way he reads them out and the voice he uses is mesmerizing. You could sit there, and it doesn't matter if you care anything about their descriptions. It's the way he reads them out. It's just I could listen to that all day. So that's the Voices from the Past. Now, also the last one. You're sticking that together off camera. Apologies, I keep forgetting where the camera is. The last one is a wonderful guy, and this really is a subject you have to know nothing about or care nothing about. It's a chap called, and the channel's the same name. It's a chap called David Bull. Basically, I think he's Canadian. He might be American, but I think he's Canadian. But basically, he's a guy. He's a guy that lives in Japan. And he is a woodblock carver, artist. He makes woodblock prints. He's been trying to learn the ancient Japanese art of ukiyo-e and other woodblock printing techniques for the last 40 years. And that's what he does. He's got a studio in Japan. And he makes woodblock prints. And you don't have to have any interest in that at all. Because what's fascinating is the way he talks. He's like the Bob Ross of the woodblock printing world. He really is. He's got hair everywhere, a beard that goes all over the place. He's a bit loopy, but he's awesome to just listen to. So yeah, David Bull. So David Bull is the channel name. Voices from the Past is another one. And Frederick Knudsen. What's all this then? Hey, Dave's in. What's all this then? Has somebody managed to build a figure in less than 3 hours? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm on my 7th. It's Poxwalkers, isn't it, Dave? They're dead easy, look. That's not even on camera. Built 7 so far. 4, 5, 6 so far. They're not hard, Poxwalkers. I mean D11 as well. D11. Japanese carpentry is my zen time. Look up David Bull retro. It's not carpentry so much. It's because it's woodblock carving. It's not carpentry as much as he's making the prints, but a lot of it is the printing process. Some of it is him just talking, explaining. But dear God, you could just listen to him all day. Really is cool. I was watching. He's got like a 20-part series. I'm trying to reproduce. Hokusai's Great Wave, I think it's called. You know, the classic woodblock print that everybody knows. I want D. What's this? D11. That's the one, yes. There you go. There's 3 channels for you to have a look at later on. Check out. You might not like them. You might find them boring. Oh, and the most important one, which is a brilliant new channel. If you know Hank Green and all the different channels that Hank Green and his brother do, they do a channel called Journey to the Microcosmos. It's just Hank Green. And it's basically footage from a channel called Jam's Germs. It's a guy who just does microscopy and videos like microbes and stuff. It's footage from that. And he's discussing and talking about microbes and microcellular life, microscopic life forms. But Hank Green, who's normally, does like SciShow and stuff like that, he talks in a really quiet voice, and the music in the background, and Hank Green talking quietly, and footage of little tiny, single cell creatures whizzing around. It's just, you really will just trip out. It's only 10 minutes long, but yeah, Journey to the Microcosmos. Every Monday that comes out. I think it's every Monday. And I'm like, yay, new video, and I watch it. It's brilliant, and I fall asleep. Paul says, bye, Dave. Oh, because he was about to ban Dave, but Dave's gone in the right channel. Pox Walkers, after painting 100, I never want to paint another poxy one again, says Dave. Yeah, but you know what? Contrast paints, mate. When I paint these, contrast paints. Speed that process up. Not for all of them, but for the flesh, contrast paints all the way. I could spend my time on all the other bits and bobs then. I'll have 40 to paint for this Conquest set. Dave, when are you doing the Nerd Army Painter prep stuff, says Model Making Mayhem. Dave says Thursday when I do a live stream. When I do a live stream. Yabba dabba, copyright. Shh. We've got 15 minutes. See if we can get this last one done in the next 15 minutes. Let's see if we can get all but one finished. It'll be a record. It'll be a bench speed record. Yeah, there's no way to do Poxwalkers slowly anyway, let's be perfectly honest here. More questions? Give me more questions. If you weren't here a little while ago, we're doing an AMA where you can ask me anything. Don't care what as long as it's not politics and religion, I don't care. Sorry, I'm not camera. I will answer it as best I can. So, ask me anything. Ask me questions. I'll have to go and buy some. Mine are all prepped already, says Dave. Isn't rewording the song okay under fair use? Says Team Inept. No, because there's still the tune. You've still got the tune as well. And fair use is really more an American thing than a British thing. There's not really as much of a fair use clause in the UK as there is for the US. You've still got UK copyright law, so yeah. If you're a UK YouTuber, don't make any assumptions about copyright, because all the advice on YouTube is pretty much tailored to the Americans. Really. You're not sure if something's copyright free or not, don't use it. Question, what's your all-time favourite computer game? Says Candygram for Mongo. I don't know. I can't. You broke me now. Because I could say Skyrim, but then I'd have to say Fallout 3. But then I'd have to say Fallout 4 because it's got its good points. But then I'd have to say Skyrim. But then I say Elite Dangerous, but then I'd say... I don't know. Again, it's like choosing your favourite child. I don't know. I really can't answer that question. Because I'll play a game obsessively, and then I'll move on to another game and get obsessive about that, and then I'll go back to the first one again and get obsessive about it. It's really hard. Like Skyrim and the Fallouts. Yeah. It's a tough one. Even Fallout 4, because I love Fallout 4, don't get me wrong. Got a lot of issues, but at the end of the day, it's cool shooting action. And it's cool adventuring action. And I don't mind it. I don't know. I can't answer that one. Hard question, Skyrim, but back in the day of the PlayStation 1, it would be Grandia. Don't know what Grandia is. I stumped Fox that you won. Yes, Candygram, you won an absolute big pile. A premium edition box of nothing whatsoever. I don't know what Grandia is. I would have said back in the day it would have been Halo Combat Evolved, but I drew away from that. It was back in the day, but not anymore. But Dave, like I say, Dave, yeah, even Dave says hard question that. It's like Skyrim and Fallout, they kind of tickle the same itch, so it's hard to say one and not the other. I really do wish that there was going to be a Fallout 3 remaster into Fallout 4's engine, but I know there won't be. I'm just playing through Fallout 3 again now, and it's like, oh, but imagine that this in Fallout 4, or just imagine Fallout 3 with mods on console. Even if they just made mods available on console, that'd be amazing. But they won't. They've got more important things to be doing. So for Fox, would be any Bethesda games? No, not really. I couldn't stand Oblivion. I have no desire to get Fallout 76 unless it goes free to play. Because there's no way I'm going to read all the information about that game and then pay money for it. I didn't mind Elder Scrolls Online, but it was a bit boring. I wasn't really into it. I've not tried Morrowind and stuff, but I think from what I've read about Morrowind and stuff and Daggerfall, they're going to have things in them I don't like. Skyrim or Football Manager, says Paul. Gross Model says it's warm. Fallout 4 is a great game. It just sets my eye twitching. They live in a bad place, let's say, with a hole in the roof over the bed. Yeah. When you make a settlement in Fallout 4, a bed has to have a roof over it to be acceptable to the people living there. But the roof could be just full of holes, it doesn't matter. Or it could be right next to an enormous gaping hole in the wall, but as long as there's a panel of roof over the top of it, yeah. There's some gaminess about that game, but you know what, it's great. But I only love Fallout 4 so much because I got some weapon, I got some mods for it. I got the M1 Garand, I got the Car 98. I slowed the walking speed down to quarter speed, and it changes the whole game, and it makes it much more interesting to play. If you just run through at top speed everywhere, like you've got like nuclear powered legs or something, it's not as interesting. If you're suddenly restricted to walking at actual real walking speed, it becomes a lot more challenging. And you've got a Car 98 that takes 1,000,000 hours to aim because it's got a tiny little iron sight. Yeah, it becomes challenging and more interesting. I do hope for a remaster and expansion of Fallout 3, says Candygram. I mean, I know they're never going to do it, but I just would love it if they just said, you know what, we've remade Fallout 3 in Fallout 4. But the thing is, if you think about it, everybody's calling for that, and they're like, yeah, but it's not really that much work. It's just a graphical update. It's like, no, you're making a whole new game. They're not just going to press a button. There's not just a little button in their software that says, convert this to the new engine. They'd have to basically rebuild the game from scratch. And, That's years of work, and they're working on Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6. I don't expect them to do that anytime, which is a shame. There is some there are actually people making Fallout 3 in Fallout 4 engine, but it's always going to be PC only, unfortunately, and it'll take forever. Great game, but I think the world's too small compared to Skyrim, says David Butch, that model. Yep, unless you slow the walking speed down to 0.25%. In which case, that's actually proper walking speed. And then it can take you like an hour and a half to get across from one side of the map to the other. Much more interesting. Of course, you need a mod. You need the cheat engine mod to do that. Cheat terminal. More questions? More questions. Ask me anything. We've got 10 minutes. See if I can get this guy done. 10 Minuten. That's French and German combined. I've just offended everybody. 10 Minuten. Achtung! Schnell, schnell. I downloaded Medal of Honor Frontline. No, Medal of Honor Frontline, I wish. Medal of Honor not again. Medal of Honor Airborne. I re-downloaded it on Xbox the other day. I thought, let's have I've not played it for a couple of years. And I was really into it when it first came out. Because I love my Medal of Honor, World War II stuff. And I for some reason I blanked the memory of playing it on my Xbox One, because the only memory I had was playing it on my old 360 on a 1080p TV. And it looked fine, it looked great. I fired it up and I was like, oh dear God. Because it's had no, other than being backwards compatible, it's got no enhancements for Xbox One X. It's not been upscaled to 4, it's not, at code level, it's not been upscaled to 4K, it's not had HDR added, it's had nothing. So you literally are just playing the original, probably 720p game, zonged up to 4K on my 4K telly, but with all the jaggies in the world and really washed out colours, and it's like, oh, yeah, not great. Not great. So I had these fond memories of it, and it's like, oh, no. Ask you anything, okay, says Model Making Trucker. That's what we're doing all afternoon. I've just built my first ever resin dude, says Trucker. Cool, what's the dude? What have you built? Pictures in the boom hut, and tell us what you built. I've got an itchy nose, I do apologise. I need to trim my moustache, it's tickling my nose areas. Dave says, talking about the size of Fallout 4 compared to Skyrim, he says, but I have been playing World of Warcraft 15 years now. That is a big world to play in. Well, it's the Elder Scrolls Online, isn't it? But that's quite a big world. But I mean, I've played it a couple of times. I started playing it for a couple of times, and given up both times. I don't think I actually ever got past. I started off down at the bottom near Elsewhere on that island. I think I got off that island to the mainland, and I can't remember. Quite big. Jeff, Skyrim is a fantastic game. Better playing on PC for the mods you can get. You can get some good mods on Xbox as well, but yeah, always better on PC. Mod availability is always higher on PC. If you're on console, with Fallout 4 and with Skyrim, the mods are better on Xbox than PlayStation, purely because PlayStation do not allow original content. What that means is any mod that's on PlayStation has to use content that already exists on the game disc, in the game files. So for example, me with my Fallout 4, Car 98K and Garand M1 rifle, you're not getting that on PlayStation 4. It's original game files. They've made the models of the weapons. Me playing Skyrim with Inigo, you're not getting that on PlayStation 4. You only get it on Xbox. So if you've got a choice between Xbox or PlayStation for Skyrim or Fallout 4, go for Xbox. For no other reason than the mods are just infinitely better. And that's down to Sony, unfortunately. Number of times you go into like the Bethesda mods website and it's like, here's this mod, blah, blah, blah. And there's always a comment saying, could you bring this out for PlayStation 4? And the reply is always, no. End of. Let's have a look. I'll have you know these are proper chips. I added salt, vinegar, and Worcestershire sauce and ketchup. This sounds correct. I've suddenly got into sriracha sauce. I don't know why. Model making truck, a 200mm 1800S. Oh, 1800s Royal Navy midshipman unboxing video on my YouTube. Cool. Excellent. Oh, yes, I saw that. I think I've seen that. Yeah, I think I've seen that one. I forgot about that. Cool. Fun painting that. Right, I think he's ready for gluage. We might get this last little chap done. We've got 5 minutes. 1 second. I just saw a comment from Dave. Get this guy stuck on his base. Base! How low can you go? Dip-dip-a-doo-diddle-diddle. Viscosity allows the stickiness, as we've said many times. Dave says, question Fox, I've seen a video or two on mixing Tamiya putty with X20 and painting it on flat panels to imitate old rough metal. Have you tried it yet? Nope. But I thought it was the it was the lacquer thinner you have to use, because they're epoxy putties, I think, aren't they? One of the thinners. X20 is the enamel thinner. X20A is the acrylic thinner. I don't know what the lacquer thinners are. But yes, you can take... I've seen people do Tamiya putties with thinners, and they can then get that kind of like, not quite Zimmerit texture, but you can get a certain texture to, especially like tanks and stuff. Sometimes it can look like various magnetic anti-mine coatings, or it can look like various armor protection coatings. Sometimes you can use it with a bit of texture to it to give it that kind of corroded metal look. But yeah, I've never done it, but I've seen it done. It looks pretty cool. Team says, look at the viscosity! Sriracha, the multi-tool of hot sauce. Right, I'm off. I need the food, says Space Hamster. Yes, I shall be going soon. I've just got to glue this arm on this chap, and we are done! How does this attach? It's going to be a fiddly one now. That takes about half an hour to figure out, innit? It goes around the world. No, don't sing that. Oh, perfect. Perfecto. Like a glove. Excellent. I never thought of adding Worcestershire sauce to chips. We pretty much only have Liam Perrin's brand here. This is correct. Liam Perrin's Worcestershire sauce is the only Worcestershire sauce you should have. Liam Perrin's invented Worcestershire sauce. You can call it Worcester sauce, that is allowed. Yes, Liam Perrin's invented it, and that's the only brand you should ever consider buying and using. When I have chips, I will invariably... I put soy sauce and everything. I put dark soy sauce and everything. But when I have chips, it will be... I'll add dark soy sauce. I will add sriracha sauce, or sriracha, however you pronounce it. Although before I found that stuff, it was just regular sweet chili sauce. But I will also add mayonnaise. Get a squirty bottle of mayonnaise and put a squidge of that over your chips as well. It just adds to the flavouring. You can be savouring the flavouring. Right, that's masticated. You know what, folks? I don't want to blow your minds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've done 7 dudes. I say we, but I've done all the work. But we've done 7 dudes. I've done 7 dudes. This can't even be natural, can it? Is this even a thing? So we've got 9 there now. So I've got 1 dude left to do, to be perfectly honest. What I think we'll do next, we've got 1 dude left to do. So we'll carry on with him next week, so I've done that guy as well. We'll either carry on with this last guy next week, because then issue 61 is Imperial Objectives, scenery pieces that will take 5 minutes to build. And after that, it's Galvanic Servo Haulers. Yes. So I might just build this guy after I've had my dinner. I don't know yet. Or I might just leave him till... It's only 2-part anyway. I might leave him till next week. We shall see. But I think, yeah, we've done 7 dudes. Wow. So have a quick look at the chat. McGee sauce. What's McGee sauce? Maggie sauce. What's Maggie sauce, Dave? Never heard of it. 7. I would not believe it if I had seen it with my own eyes. Yes. Oh. Well, they're only poxable because they're not hard to make, are they? And you can get a bit rushed with this with the cleaning up because they're made of filth and disease. A few little rough touches here and there is not the end of the world. It's a PB. What's a PB? What does PB mean? Okay, all it's vampy time. Going to play World of Warcraft. Says Muse. Thanks for coming in, Muse. Take care of yourself. It's a bit like soy sauce. Oh, okay. Right. Yeah, cool. So we've got one stand left to do. Anyway, that's going to do us, because I need to go and sort my dinner out now. Well, I say sort, I mean wait for it to turn up at the doorstep, which is always fun. Roast beef, Yorkshire pudding, ooh, all the trimmings. Right, so yeah, that's going to do us. Thank you very much for watching. As always, don't forget to check out the companies that support this channel. That's emodels.co.uk and goblingaming.co.uk. Links in the description below the video. They make this channel possible. Don't forget, of course, if you want to help support this channel, you can do. You can become a patron, patreon.com/modelmakinguru. And don't forget, of course, I now have, as well as the American Amazon store and the UK Amazon store, which are linked in the description below, I do have the Canadian Amazon store, which, again, I shall put into chat in case anybody missed it when my chat's working. Right, where is it? I shall put it in there, hopefully. When my keyboard wakes up. Wake up, keyboard. Wake up, keyboard. I'll do it this way. I've got a button for it now. Oh, my buttons have gone to sleep. Hang on. Oh, always something, isn't there? And there's always something. Quit that and open it again. Bit of that, one of them, and more stuff, and see if that works. Does that pop in? Did it work? It sent a, well, I just put a comment in someone's chat. Oh, there you go. Yeah, yes, we've got a Canadian one as well now. There we go. But yes, I shall be back tomorrow. Tomorrow is the eModel stream. The eModel stream is back tomorrow, of course, don't forget. Chris will be on later tonight at 8 PM for his Warhammer Sunday, unless he's dying of a headache. Dad, I think, is doing a stream in about 15 minutes, I think. Yeah, 15 minutes or so. So go to Dad's channel when this is finished. Dad will run for a little bit. And then I say Chris is at 8 PM tonight for Warhammer Sunday, and we'll be back on Monday. I will be cracking on with the Falcon again this week. I have also got some of the X-Wing, Destiny X-Wing issues turned up, so what I might do, rather than film an episode because I can't be bothered, is, to be honest here, it's too warm. I may just do a live stream where I work on the latest issues because I've got 2 lots in one, so I may just do a live stream during the week sometime where I work on the latest X-Wing issues. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, so Dad on in 10 minutes on his channel, and then Chris at 8 PM tonight. So go and check those out. Take care of yourselves. Thank you very much for watching. Go make something awesome like these. Go be awesome. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe. Wash your damn hands. Avoid all the fires in the world. And I shall say, until next time, adios, amoebas.